Christmas starts here at H&L Rapid True Value. Get Christmas ready by shopping the latest in our catalog. The time brought to you by H&L Rapid True Value is...
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The temperature by pure water is...
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
News at 5 teasers are brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In nationwide news at this hour, a report from the Auditor General finds numerous issues at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM.
Pamela Monroe Ellis cites governance issues, high staff turnover, and health hazards at the critical government agency.
6 persons arrested by MOCA for scamming an elderly NCB customer of more than $14 million.
The Integrity Commission has sent another investigative report to Parliament.
Government senator wants mandatory death penalty for those convicted of murdering children.
I personally am an advocate for when our children are killed or murdered in acts such as this, there should be a mandatory death sentence.
In news from the rest of the world, Bahamian Parliament descends into chaos after MP throws ceremonial mace through window.
The French Prime Minister is expected to resign after he lost a vote of no confidence.
In headline sports, 6 Olympic podium finishers nominated for the 2024 Sportsman and Woman of the Year awards.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, 3 people, including an alleged gunman, were killed and a man wounded in related incidents in Manchester on Tuesday. It's the latest violent incident in what was once a peaceful parish. What's gone wrong? The commanding officer of the division, DSP Kerry Duncan, and president of the Manchester Chamber of Commerce, Omar Fennell, will join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, should people who murder children get the death penalty? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, teams from the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have arrested 6 people so far in connection with an ongoing investigation into a multi-million-dollar cyber attack. We'll get the latest from MOCA's Director of Communications, Major Basil Jarrett.
At 7, several Bahamian MPs were arrested on Wednesday after one threw the Parliament ceremonial mace through a window during a heated discussion about corruption. CEO of Magnetic Media, DeAndre Hamilton, will join us.
All these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Wednesday afternoon, it's Wednesday, December 4, 2024.
News at 5 teasers were brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Governance, high staff turnover, and health hazards are among a list of issues the Auditor General has flagged as concerning at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. Pamela Monroe Ellis's report was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. She says these issues impact the ability of the government agency to fulfill its mandate and respond effectively in the case of an emergency. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
According to Mrs. Monroe Ellis, a performance audit was commissioned to determine whether ODPEM was effectively managing its resources to advance Jamaica's disaster preparedness and emergency management capabilities. The audit also sought to assess whether ODPEM's governance and resource management practices were aligned to its strategic objectives. The 30-page report revealed that for the periods 2018-2019 to 2023-2024, ODPEM experienced some challenges in management of its financial, human, and physical resources. This, the Auditor General says, poses a risk to its ability to effectively plan and respond to emergencies and natural disasters. According to the report, the ODPEM board at the time did not approve the 2020-2021 to 2022-2023 strategic and operational plans that were submitted by the leadership. This impacted the timely delivery of key projects critical to disaster mitigation and response efforts. It says ODPEM's management's failure to submit to the board annual reports and audited financial statements for 2018-2019 to 2022-2023 as required limited the board's effectiveness and ability to hold the management to account. While the reports were eventually submitted in 2024, their initial absence posed a risk to effectively monitoring the entity to determine whether it was fulfilling its mandate. According to the Auditor General, ODPEM also faced recruitment challenges, high staff turnover, and health hazards within its premises, which undermined operational efficiency. For example, during 2018 to 2019 to 2023 to 2024, ODPEM experienced 36 staff separations, with 14 occurring in 2022-2023. 22 new employees were hired in the review period. Meanwhile, 35% of its 23 technical positions remained vacant, with 2 temporarily filled. Recruitment was further halted in September 13, 2022, following the discovery of mold in ODPEM's building. The Auditor General says this pause in hiring had a direct impact on ODPEM's ability to meet key operational targets, including the development of disaster risk management plans at the parish level due to unfulfilled regional coordination positions. Mrs. Monroe Ellis says the need to replace the central air conditioning unit at its head office in 2019 was identified. ODPEM also received $33 million to do so. However, ODPEM failed to replace the unit. This resulted in funds remaining unused for more than 5 years, and the head office closed for approximately 2 months in 2023 due to air quality challenges. However, the Auditor General says since the submission of her draft report to ODPEM and the Portfolio Ministry, the entity has taken steps to address some of the gaps identified. However, Mrs. Monroe Ellis says some deficiencies remain. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
A new investigative report from the Integrity Commission has been sent to Gordon House for tabling in the House of Representatives. A statement from the Commission on Wednesday says this was in keeping with its commitment previously made to the public. The report was formally received and signed for at the Parliament. Hard copies of the investigative report were submitted in separate envelopes under the cover of identical letters. These were addressed to Speaker of the House of Representatives Juliet Holness, Senate President Tom Tavares Finson, and Clerk to the Houses of Parliament Colleen Lowe. A USB flash drive containing electronic PDF copies of all documentation submitted was also conveyed. The Integrity Commission says it anticipates that its investigative report will be tabled in the Parliament as soon as possible.
The Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, says 6 persons who were arrested in a multi-million-dollar smishing scam are believed to have stolen more than $14 million from an elderly customer of the National Commercial Bank. Smishing uses fake text messages to trick people into downloading malware which shares sensitive information or sends money to cybercriminals. The arrests were made in a series of targeted operations spanning 6 locations across 4 parishes: St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, St. Catherine and Kingston. In an update on Wednesday, MOCA says the 6 suspects are believed to have stolen $45,000 from the customer. That's the equivalent of just over 7 million Jamaican dollars. A further 7.4 million Jamaican dollars was also stolen from the elderly NCB customer. MOCA says the stolen money was distributed to a number of beneficiaries using a sophisticated smishing scam. The cyber attacks are alleged to have taken place in March last year. Director of Communications at MOCA, Major Basil Jarrett, says the 6 are expected to be charged soon.
Government Senator and consultant psychiatrist Dr. Sophia Longmore says perpetrators who murder children should face the death penalty.
I think we need to recognize a paradigm shift in the protection of our children. If Kiyode know that she would get an automatic death sentence for the manner in which she killed Daniel, it would serve as a significant mental impairment in stopping her from probably committing this crime. I personally am an advocate for when our children are killed or murdered in acts such as this, there should be a mandatory death sentence applied to it. We need to have a stance for the protection of our children.
The senator was reacting to the sentencing hearing of Coyote Satchel. Satchel confessed to the abduction and murder of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe. Satchel's attorney, Pierre Rogers, told the court on Monday that his client committed the crime after discovering she had contracted HIV from the child's father. In his appeal for leniency, Rogers said his client didn't abduct Daniel with the premeditated intention of harming her. Rather, he says it was a desperate cry for help to get the attention from the child's father. But Dr. Longmore is questioning the rationality behind the motive.
I want us to appreciate that even if the reaction is immediately one where you quote-unquote lose your mind, and this is my perspective of it, but this act was planned, was executed over a number of hours, and in no way could someone say that this was an immediate response to the news of being told that they're HIV positive. I think there's so much more than just, I think personally, than being told that you're HIV positive. For that level of anger, for that level of violence to be enacted against an innocent child.
Dr. Sophia Longmore, government senator and consultant psychiatrist. She was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Wednesday.
The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation says a temporary staircase has been constructed at the block of flats in Torrington Park housing scheme in South St. Andrew. An elderly woman was injured after the original structure collapsed in November. On Tuesday, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation reported that structural reinforcements were also made to all other staircases inside the housing scheme. The ministry says overall work at the housing scheme is about 10% complete. It says the $52 million repair project is expected to be wrapped up by June of 2025. The collapse of the stairway at one of the block of flats in the community was criticized by the MP for the area, Mark Golding. Mr. Golding published letters on social media which he said supported his claim that efforts by him to get the authorities to undertake the necessary repairs were repeatedly ignored. But the ministry rejected the claim of foot dragging, noting that repair work was frustrated by procurement issues and the reluctance of some contractors to enter the community due to security concerns.
Managing Director of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica FCJ, Dr. Donald Farquharson, says no lease agreement has been signed or issued for businesses to operate at the Morant Bay Urban Centre in St. Thomas. This follows claims that businesses approved to operate in the facility are from outside the parish. Dr. Farquharson says over 140 applications have been received to date, half of which are from entrepreneurs in St. Thomas.
There has been no issued lease agreement to this point. We have a total of 143 space reservation agreements. These are interests where our potential clients indicate the size of the space, the type of businesses that they plan to do at the location. So these have been received. They are being reviewed. We have given priority to the 11 government entity, which will take up virtually 51% or more of the space there. The FCJ, its board, would never want to disenfranchise the people of St. Thomas. This is their project. This is their solution. There's 143 applicants that has come in. 75 of those are from St. Thomas, and we're going through that process.
Dr. Farquharson says the FCJ is not the entity that will make the final call on who occupies the space at the completed facility.
This facility is owned by the Morant Bay Urban Centre. So Factories Corporation, it's facilitating that process. So all of the documentation that comes in is reviewed by us, and then it will be passed over to the Morant Bay Urban Centre for final approval. So they have not issued an approval on any space at this point. As a matter of fact, as you know, the building is still in construction. But the point I'm making is that there's a process of assessing. There's a number of criteria that are listed. The applicant applicants make their submission, it is reviewed, and then that is turned over to the deciding committee. And that process has not been concluded or even started.
Dr. Donald Farquharson, Managing Director of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica.
Meanwhile, Dr. Farquharson says an additional 10 acres of land have been purchased to build out office space for operators of small businesses.
We got applications from about 75 clients, and 35 of those clients were under 800 square feet. So the demand from small businesses are very significant, and we decided that it was important. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister had issued a mandate, I believe in his budget speech last year, that FCJ should consider annexing to the urban centers smaller solutions for the small businesses within the communities. Let it not be said, as it's been said now, that we are giving emphasis only to big businesses. So the board was really very shrewd in its action in moving to purchase this 10.3 acres. As I said, the concept designs are now concluded, and we are going to initiate the process of development and planning.
Dr. Donald Farquharson, the Managing Director of the FCJ. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it's taking steps to address the reports of immigration challenges faced by Jamaicans at foreign ports of entry. This as reports of abuse in Mexico and other South American countries have increased on social media. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the government is actively engaging with relevant authorities to resolve these issues and ensure that Jamaicans' rights are respected.
We are very concerned by the reports we've been hearing of in social media for more than one reason. In 2023, the ministry advised that a more restrictive approach was being taken by Mexico and other Central American authorities to reduce the misuse of their borders to enter the United States of America illegally. The government therefore then strongly urged Jamaicans not to misuse particular borders for the purpose of illegal immigration and warned that it was quite possible that lawful travelers would start to be negatively impacted. That is, they could ultimately be negatively impacted.
She says the government will do all in its power to protect the rights of Jamaicans traveling overseas. However, she's urging Jamaicans to adhere to the laws of whichever port of entry they've traveled to.
While the Jamaican government always stands ready to defend and protect the rights of our citizens overseas, we regret to remind that we cannot insist that any state allow any non-citizen to enter that state. No citizen has a right to enter another country other than their own. So we therefore can only work to prevent the contravention of basic rights, of human rights, particularly in terms of unlawful detention or mistreatment.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade.
The roadway between Dumfries and Prospect in St. Thomas has been reduced to single-lane access. The National Works Agency in the NWA says the restriction will remain in place for the next 10 business days between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. According to the NWA, the roadwork being done forms part of the package under the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project from Morant River Bridge to Prospect. The works will include the removal of the asphaltic concrete surface, replacing of base course material, and repaving of the targeted sections of the roadway.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
A dispute erupted in the Bahamian House of Parliament on Wednesday after Deputy Leader of the main opposition, Shannon Cartwright, threw the ceremonial mace through a window. This after the Speaker of the House denied Opposition Leader Michael Pintard the opportunity to address the controversy of police officials being involved in drug trafficking. Tensions have been high in the Bahamas due to several high-ranking police officials in Florida during a cocaine sting operation. A viral video on social media showed Mr. Cartwright approaching the Speaker's desk, taking up the mace and throwing it out the window.
You don't know what that address entails. But I have an opportunity to speak. We will deal with that when I get to that order of business. The chair recognizes the Honourable Member for Freetown.
Madam Speaker.
Whenever, okay.
Government may have its way, the opposition ought to have its say, Madam Speaker. You have an opportunity in your discretion to permit us to put on the public record our views on a matter of critical subject.
Now I will say. Get him! Honourable members, remove that member from this place. Remove the honourable member for St. Barnabas from these proceedings.
The police later intervened, arresting the deputy leader and 2 MPs. The mace is a symbol of parliamentary authority. Now, without the mace in place, laws cannot be discussed or passed.
In international news now, the French Prime Minister Michel Barnier is expected to resign after losing a vote of no confidence, with left and far-right parties uniting in Parliament to boot his government. The National Assembly approved the motion by 331 votes. A minimum of 288 were needed. As a result, Barnier is obliged to present the resignation of his government. The no-confidence motion rose from fierce opposition to his proposed budget. The budget bill sought to rein in France's spiraling deficit in tax rises and spending cuts. Barnier was appointed Prime Minister in September by the French President Emmanuel Macron. Once his resignation is submitted, the Prime Minister will become the country's shortest-serving Prime Minister in France's modern republic. President Macron is expected to give a televised speech on the no-confidence vote tomorrow.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. A report from the Auditor General finds numerous issues at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM.
Pamela Monroe Ellis cites governance issues, high staff turnover, and health hazards at the critical government agency.
6 persons arrested by MOCA for scamming an elderly NCB customer of more than $14 million.
Government Senator Dr. Sophia Longmore wants mandatory death penalty for those convicted of murdering children.
I personally am an advocate for when our children are killed or murdered in acts such as this, there should be a mandatory death sentence.
Dr. Sophia Longmore. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
The Answers Grand Prix Christmas Bonanza Sale. Get up to 50% off when you claim your discount at Answers Gifts and Home and Answers for Children. Answers Grand Prix Christmas Bonanza Sale. Now on till Saturday, December 14.
Mazda is bringing the magic this Christmas. Get a 2-year service package, 1 year free insurance, license, registration, and free window tinting, plus 3 months of payments on us. But hurry, deal ends December 31. Conditions apply. Mazda, more style, more value, more smiles per mile.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit accounts puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Good afternoon with your sports reporter, I'm Alric Swaby. Now 8 men and 5 women will battle for the National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year award at the ceremony at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on January 17, 2025. Among the nominees are 6 podium finishers from the Paris Olympics, 5 male and a female. All the nominees on the men's side compete in track and field, which include Akeem Blake, Rashid Broadbell, Rajinja Campbell, Roisin McDonald, McLeod, Wayne Pinnock, Roger Stoner, and Kishane Thompson. On the women's side, the nominees are cyclist Laurie Sharp and a quartet of track and field athletes Rochelle Clayton, Akira Nugent, Nikisha Price, and Shanika Ricketts. Chairman of the selection committee, Mike Fennell, says the 6 podium finishers in Paris was amazing.
I can talk openly. There was a lot of disappointment with Paris. But it stopped us from celebrating some fantastic performances. And we should remember that, yes, you'll always have disappointments. But let us not interfere with us celebrating those who did so well. Yes.
Fennell says he's looking forward to the awards next year.
It's good, we have so many things going on in Jamaica. I know that there's competition for this. Therefore, we have to see how we can mobilize proper celebration of our people, our sportsmen and sportswomen who do so well. I'm so painfully aware of what they do for this country on the international scene. Because I see it all around. When I travel abroad, people talk about it. But we tend to take it for granted in Jamaica. We expect it. And nothing.
Mike Fennell. Now, President of the Jamaica Football Federation, JFF, Michael Ricketts, congratulated Cavalier on becoming the first Jamaican club to win the Caribbean Cup Championship since 2019. Cavalier were crowned the 2024 champions despite losing 2-1 against Cibao FC in the return leg of the final in the Dominican Republic last night. Ricketts says Cavalier's achievement is a reflection of local coaching program.
It is indeed an historic achievement. And no praise would be too much for Rudolph Speed and the Cavalier players who have really made us very, very proud. When you look at what is happening now from a technical perspective and from a coaching standpoint, you look at even schoolboy football, Miran Gordon, the KC coach, Vassy Reynolds, the Glenmere coach, Peart. These are all A-licensed coaches that have come up through the ranks of our coaching education program. So it speaks volumes for the achievement of these, not the schools, but clubs. So I really, really want to personally say congratulations to Rudolph and to Cavalier.
Michael Ricketts. McGrath beat Ocho Rios 6-1 in semi-final 1 of the Issa Water da Costa Cup football competition a short while ago at the National Stadium. Keanu Reid gave Ocho Rios the lead in the 6th minute. However, pressure from McGrath forced an equalizer 1 minute later through an own goal. Farrell Tucker put McGrath in front in the 10th minute before Shane Pusey scored in the 22nd, 48th, 54th and 90th minutes. Meanwhile, Champions Cup winners Glenmore and Garvin Masia will meet in semi-final 2 at 6 p.m. Now to horse racing, as the biggest race in local horse racing returns to Caymanas Park with the third running of the Mute Mile Invitational Race for 3-year-old thoroughbreds on December 7. With its historic $250,000 purse, live broadcast on Fact Sports, the confirmed participation of overseas entrants and a Wild West themed entertainment experience, the third running of the Mute Mile Invitational is creating a lot of excitement. Corporate Communications and Public Relations Manager Cloline Daly Mouchette says the Mute Mile is one of the most highly anticipated events on the sports and social calendar in December.
This year, it's a US $250,000 purse. So that's approximately 38 million Jamaican dollars that this one race carries for the purse. So, of course, it's one that the punters will love. And based on the entrants that we have so far, we have 6 coming from overseas. We have some top contenders from the local thoroughbreds. It's a race that will be thrilling from start to finish.
Cloleen Daly Mushet. I'm Alex Swibby, and that's your sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you. The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my 1JN Passport app. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The temperature by the 1JN Passport app is
29 degrees Celsius in City Kingston and 27 in Montego Bay.
Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Come to Frame Art Jamaica Limited for your one-stop framing, graphic design, and printing needs. We frame photos, certificates, paintings, t-shirts, and so much more. We print banners and print on canvas. You can also get high-quality prints and framing done in a quick turnaround time to fit your budget. Visit Frame Arts Jamaica at 22C Old Hope Road, Kingston 5, Monday through Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 876-929-3058 or visit us at info@frameartjamaica.com. Serving you for more than 30 years.
Hi-Lo gives you a Merry Christmas. Hi-Lo gives you a Merry Christmas. Hi-Lo gives you a Merry Christmas with 40 days of giveaway.
Win a grand prize of a trip for 2 to Punta Cana and get great daily prizes in the Hi-Lo 40 Days of Christmas promotion. To enter, shop at Hi-Lo, purchase any 6 Hi-Lo branded products and spend a minimum of $10,000. Then write your name, number, and address on the receipt and place in a drop box provided for a chance to win in the Hi-Lo 40 Days of Christmas promotion. Promotion ends December 31st. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration land surveys also included, affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really click news starting?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour. Fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Bahamian. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Click News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I happen to be Siobhan Campbell.
Good afternoon, Siobhan.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Good afternoon to our friends joining us on radio. Hello to you if you're joining us on the app or the website. And good afternoon to our friends on YouTube. We're turning our attention to the crime situation in the parish of Manchester. Now, 3 people, including an alleged gunman, were killed and a man wounded in related incidents in porous Manchester on Tuesday. The police report that about 7 in the evening, a gunman entered a bar in Porus and opened fire on the bartender and a male patron, killing them both. The police say the gunman shot another man outside the bar.
That man was suffering from gunshot wounds near the Porus police station. Relatives named the bartender as Sasha A. Chambers, a resident of Redbury. The male patron's identity has not yet been established. The gunman, in an attempt to escape, ran along the old roadway and jumped on a waiting motorcycle. He was intercepted by police, resulting in a reported running gun battle.
The police say he was fatally shot and a firearm was seized. The driver of the motorcycle escaped and a manhunt has been launched for his capture. Now, Councillor for the Porus Division, Claudia Morant Baker, she's saying that the Christmas festivities in the town could suffer. That's the town of Porus. Those festivities could suffer from the recent surge of violence.
Right now, looking forward for a sad Christmas for Porus Division and its environs. I hope it doesn't impact it in a big way, because I'm going to encourage them to go out as early as possible, get their business done and get home. But then again, the concern is genuine because it's happening now in broad daylight. So I just have to encourage persons, please try and be safe.
That's Claudia Morant Baker, the councillor for the Porus Division in Manchester. She says there's growing fear among the residents of the parish.
Up to November 30, the JCF says Manchester recorded 47 murders. This is in comparison to 41 murders recorded in 2023. There have been 41 shootings for the same period this year, and that is compared to 36 shootings for the corresponding period last year. Other major crimes such as rapes, break-ins, and robberies have gone down by an average of 44% in the parish. And joining us to discuss the crime situation over there in Manchester, we have with us the commanding officer for the division, that is Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan. Good afternoon, Sir Duncan.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for having me.
Good afternoon, DSP. Let me start the manhunt for the driver of the motorcycle. Where that alleged gunman tried to escape on. What's the update on that manhunt?
Right, we have some operations that are ongoing within that space and even outside the Porus policing area. But one thing I want to make clear, though, is that the murders last night and the fatal shooting of this man, at this point, we are not saying that they are connected. it is quite likely, but we are not categorically saying that they are connected at this point. What I can tell you is that after the incident of murder was reported to us, our police team who was in the area on some special operation responded, and they came upon the gentleman on the motorcycle, and they were engaged, and a running gun battle ensued, resulting in the fatal shooting of this man, and a firearm was recovered.
DSP, when I was growing up, Manchester was always known as a safe parish. Yeah, it was peaceful, quiet area, but certainly something seems to have gone wrong. What's gone wrong?
Right. So obviously we have some challenges in Manchester at this point. However, let us turn our attention to some of the positives happening in Manchester at this point anyways. So since the start of the year, as you alluded to earlier, we have seen on record 250 serious crimes being reported to us, and this is 44 less than that which was reported in 2023, where we had 294 major crimes. Based on our operational output also, we have seen the recovery of 20 illegal firearms compared to 16 last year, and a total of 187 rounds of ammunition compared to 63 for the entire year last year. So this is our operational push that is yielding these results. Rightly so, we have seen an uptick where murders are concerned, which is really not the norm for the parish of Manchester. But when we do our own analysis and we look at what is influencing the crime situation, the lottery scamming activities features prominently in what is happening here. And so we find the interpersonal issues between persons in varying communities, the feuding that is happening. I will go further to say that we have also intensified our road policing activities. So our public order initiatives are well underway. So our town centers, where we have majority of our persons gathering in Manchester, I would dare to say is fairly safe. We had an unfortunate incident on the 4th of October this year, where we had persons fatally shot in the town of Manchester. And even since then, we have intensified our operational activities. As we go into our Yuletide season now, and we scale down our administrative duties, and more persons are now pushed on the road. So what we can see, what we are hoping to see, that going forward, through to the Yuletide season and beyond, is our increased presence on the roadways to ensure the safety and security of the persons in Manchester.
DSP, I recall you were back with us a couple months ago, and we were discussing essentially the same issue of the rising violence in the parish. Have you received any additional resources from the Central Command since that discussion you had with us?
Certainly, we have. Our High Command is very supportive and aware of what is happening in Manchester, and as such, we had some external resources in the parish that came in and gave us some tremendous support. And I need to say that we have with us now other agencies on the ground. I can't speak too much on it, but we have been getting tremendous support from our and also our JDF counterparts giving us tremendous support in the division.
If I could take you back to the causes, you mentioned lottery scamming. And my recollection, several of these incidents that we've heard of, they seem to be happening at bars or around bars. Is there any particular reason that you can detect as to why that may be?
Right, it's so, because what we have, when we're spinning off from the lottery scamming activities, is the flossing kind of behavior that we have. And so persons would go to the bars to have their drinks. So when persons want to find persons that they have a feud with, that is where they would go. So that is the reason why, in recent times, we have also imposed our curfews in certain of these areas to ensure that the gatherings does not take place and the bars are closed at a particular time. So yes, it is an observation that we see, and so we encourage the persons that when we have these incidents and the curfews are so imposed, to just work with us and understand that it is the end result that we are interested in.
Have you been getting a pushback from bar owners about the curfews when you explain the reasoning behind the imposition?
It is kind of mixed. We have persons who readily understand what is happening, but then you have the persons who are looking from a business standpoint, and I try to tell them that it doesn't make sense that a life is lost because we want to make $1. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, persons are understanding, but yes, we get a little pushback every now and then.
Yeah.
And it will be remiss of me to say, not to say, that one of our major support also comes from our Area 3 headquarters, where we have our fugitive operation team, which is very critical to what we are doing also in Manchester.
We're up on the break, DSP. When we come back, I'd love to ask you about the nature of the lotto scamming that's taking place in the parish, but after the break.
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature, brought to you by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is
29 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night.
Charlie, let me ask you something. You not tired of the violence and the body count?
Of course.
That have to stop. That need to stop. We as Jamaicans need to start do things different. The crime, the theft, the violence, all of them things you have to stop. We need to start live good.
So what is this live good thing you're talking about?
Why, it's a message you are telling people to live good. So as a country, we can maintain the law, public order, and public safety. Not only that, when we live good with each other, we talk it out, we don't fight it out. We not support crime and badness. We need to do the right thing.
I get it, you know. And to be honest, you know, good son, are the right message that fear spread across Jamaica, you know. Live good.
Yeah, man. So make we live good. Make we dash away badness. No to domestic abuse, no to violence in schools, no to child abuse, no to scamming and robbery. Just do the right thing. Support each other. Not tear down or plot against each other. We must respect each other.
True, you're talking, and we have to set an example for the youth them. Me support that. We have to live good for a better Jamaica. So make we do the right thing and live good.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good. I better you and
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Oh, we get so much pain from. I know, sir. Sure, when you have a stretch $1 for the Christmas, you want to know the money when we give them and look on the amount of pain to me get.
Stretch your dollar at Sherwin-Williams this Christmas with 18% off select decorative paints from November 25 to December 21.
Sherwin-Williams, get all of this, man. You know, long more paint mouse. This can't miss me.
Hurry to any of our 23 stores island-wide. You don't want to miss this amazing offer. Conditions apply.
Small business owners, this holiday season, Access Financial Services is here to help you create merry money moments. Need a boost to stock up inventory, expand your business, or prepare for the festive rush? We've got you covered with our small business loans. And here's the best part. No payments for up to 1 month. Fast approvals to keep your business moving. Flexible terms tailored just for you. Let Access Financial be your partner in growth and success this holiday season. Visit accessfinanceonline.com or step into your nearest branch today. Access Financial Services, helping your small business make a big impact this Christmas. Conditions apply.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the cover story as we look at this matter of crime in Manchester. What used to be one of the quiet, sleepy parishes has been struggling in recent months with a bit of a crime issue. We have with us the commanding officer for the Manchester Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Kiri Duncan. So, Mr. Duncan, as I said, I wanted to talk to you about the nature of lotto scamming in Manchester. What have you found in terms of your intelligence as to how the operations are being carried out? Are these large criminal networks, or are we talking about small operations that are sporadic throughout the parish?
I think we've
have we lost him?
DSP? All right, we're going to try to reconnect with the DSP, speaking to the commanding officer of the Manchester Police about the crime situation in the parish, mentioning to us that lottery scamming seems to be driving some of the murders that we're seeing, also indicating that they are seeing a lot of these incidents around bars, driven by the flossing culture, he says, using the ill-gotten gains to floss, and so those locations become hotspots, and also explaining to us the reason why the curfews have been put in place, saying that there has been some effort to try to contain the situation, but also mentioning that there has been a significant improvement in the resources available to the Manchester Police and getting significant assistance and support, he says, from the area leaders in terms of the police, Area 3 I think it is, getting support there. So we're trying to reconnect with a DSP, Kiri Duncan. Now your question, Siobhan, about what's driving it. I mean, for example, you hear anecdotally that there's a proliferation of car marts.
Yes, used car dealerships.
Right. And I was going to ask the DSP if they've detected any such link between that and lottery scamming, or whether the majority of these businesses, or all of them, are legitimate businesses.
It anecdotally makes sense because that's a very good way to launder money. You just essentially buy and sell used cars at some form of discount, and you get rid of your ill-gotten gains and turn that into clean cash in order to go further. And because used cars tend to sell for relatively low prices compared to the actual cost of a new car, it falls under the threshold for the Proceeds of Crime Act. So
DSP,
people try to find these interesting ways around those kinds of issues.
DSP Duncan is back with us. DSP?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good afternoon, DSP. Did you get my question, or do you need me to repeat it regarding the nature of lottery scamming in the parish?
I did not get the question. Can you repeat it?
Okay, so as I said, I'm just trying to understand how your police intelligence seems to have identified how lotto scamming is being carried out in the parish. Is it a sporadic operation by a group of people across the parish, or are we talking about very well-organized criminal networks?
Right. I would say organized criminal networks in terms of their activities. And certainly we would look at the lifestyles some persons are living and zero in on them. And as such, we have also engaged the expertise from our lottery scamming task force. And so we have conducted several operations around these activities. And we have had at least 4 arrests in the past 10 days or so. And it is interesting to note that personally, I was on an operation about 6 weeks ago, and we came upon a motor vehicle being driven by a 17-year-old with 2 other members. And when we checked, they were in possession of lottery scamming paraphernalia. And during the interview, it was frightening to find the amount of cash that these guys are bringing in. Obviously, they were charged before the court. So it persons see it as a lucrative business, and so we have the interpersonal conflict of the for the spoils as it relates to lottery scamming activities, and so we have the spin-off of the murder.
Mm-hmm. And DSP, have you found any link between lottery scamming and the proliferation of car marts, used car marts in the parish?
There's nothing. We don't have anything direct to link us to that. But I always say it is very interesting the amount of car marts that are in the parish of Manchester.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned just now the example of, I think you said, a 17-year-old who was right. Are you finding that the persons involved in lottery scamming in the parish are of a particular age? Or are they younger, older, middle-aged?
Well, they're younger persons. I would say between the age of 17 and 35 for the most part.
Mm. And is this linked to gang activity in terms of how they're being recruited as youngsters?
Well, it is just a lifestyle. It is what they see on the media, and persons decide to get into that lifestyle. I do not have it as it relates to gang activities, but it is a personal thing for persons within the space.
Yeah. What would you say to the residents of Manchester heading into Christmas now? The Councillor for Porous indicating that she thinks the festivities may be scaled back because of what's happening in terms of violence. What would you say to the residents of your parish?
Well, definitely. I'll agree that some things will be scaled back going into the Yuletide season. However, what I can say to the residents of Manchester in general is that do not fear our power. Do not be afraid to come out, because what we are doing right now is we have increased our policing operational output in the parish, and in particular our town centres, where we know the majority of the persons will be coming to do their business and to enjoy themselves. So I can say with a level of certainty that the parish will be safe for the Yuletide season and beyond. But obviously there are some measures that will be put in place for some areas to mitigate any reprisals and counter reprisals going forward.
Mm-hmm. And for residents who may want to share information with the Manchester Police about anything they know, how do they reach you?
Well, I am always willing to share my personal number. And it's 830-4278. And anybody within this space can call me any time of day or night, and you will get a response.
DSP Kerry Duncan is the commanding officer for the Manchester Police. Keep up the good work, DSP. All the best.
I thank you very much, sir.
All right.
You know, Ricardo, I have to wonder, what has happened to our youth? I don't...
Fast
life.
life.
I'm struggling
Fast
with it.
life. Wealth. I mean...
Because, we had these notions of grandeur and this want for wealth when we were young, but I recognize...
But did we have the means that they have of accessing the wealth in that kind of get-rich-quick way? I don't know that we did.
But I believe we at least recognize the need for hard work and the need to accomplish something in the pursuit of that wealth. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's just simply missing in terms of the fiber of the youth today. And where the path to wealth and the amount they want to accumulate in such a short period of time is just outrageous.
Greed. And you know what I wonder? And I keep trying to wrap my mind around it. How do you combat that? Because how do you say to a 17-year-old, what you need to do at this point is, go to sixth form, get the K subjects, then go to university and get a 9-to-5 job, when what they will get from the ill-gotten gains far outpaces what they would get in the traditional job? How do you, as a law-abiding citizen, as a country, as a state, combat that allure, that pull that will draw them to it?
One would say that that's where parenting comes into place, doesn't it?
But I think we know that has broken down, though. I think we know that's broken down, and that's just not meeting the mark at all. And especially where there are parents who may actually know that the child is involved in that kind of illicit activity, and because they stand to benefit in some way, they condone it.
Because I think to myself, where would I be had I not had Miss Dorrit Campbell standing over my shoulder? It probably is not a pleasant place. And I wonder, why aren't there more parents like that? And I'd love to believe that they are there, but it doesn't seem to be playing out in the society.
Yeah, and I don't want to give the impression that it's a problem that's unique.
It's not unique to Jamaica.
To Jamaican society.
I saw a poll in the United States when they asked a bunch of people 17 to 18 how much money they feel they need to survive. And I saw an outrageous figure like $500,000 US a month. That cannot be a realistic expectation.
So the question is it just greed? Is it just greed?
I don't know how to answer. I feel like it's a breakdown completely. There's no interest in the moral good anymore.
That's the cover story. The headlines are next.
Cover story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Government senator and consultant psychiatrist Dr. Sophia Longmore says the perpetrators who murder children should face the death penalty.
I think we need to recognize a paradigm shift in the protection of our children. If Kiyode know that she would get an automatic death sentence for the manner in which she killed Daniel, it would serve as a significant mental impairment in stopping her from probably committing this crime. I personally am an advocate for when our children are killed or murdered in acts such as this, there should be a mandatory death sentence applied to it. We need to have a stance for the protection of our children.
The senator was reacting to the sentencing hearing of Coyote Satchel. Satchel confessed to the abduction and murder of 80-year-old Daniel Rowe. Satchel's attorney, Pierre Rogers, told the court on Monday that his client committed the crime after discovering she had contracted HIV from the child's father. But Dr. Longmore is questioning the rationality behind the motive.
I want us to appreciate that even if the reaction is immediately one where you quote-unquote lose your mind, and this is my perspective of it, but this act was planned, was executed over a number of hours, and in no way could someone say that this was an immediate response to the news of being told that they're HIV positive. I think there's so much more than just, I think personally, than being told that you're HIV positive. For that level of anger, for that level of violence to be enacted against an innocent child.
Dr. Sophia Longmore, government senator and consultant psychiatrist. Managing Director of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, FCJ, Dr. Donald Farquharson, says no lease agreement has been signed or issued for businesses to operate at the Morant Bay Urban Centre in St. Thomas. This follows claims that businesses approved to operate in the facility are from outside the parish.
There has been no issued lease agreement to this point. We have a total of 143 space reservation agreements. These are interests where our potential clients indicate the size of the space, the type of businesses that they plan to do at the location. So these have been received. They are being reviewed. We have given priority to the 11 government entity, which will take up virtually 51% or more of the space there. The FCJ, its board, would never want to disenfranchise the people of St. Thomas. This is their project. This is their solution. There's 143 applicants that has come in. 75 of those are from St. Thomas, and we're going through that process.
Dr. Farquharson says the FCJ is not the entity that will make the final call on who occupies the space at the completed facility.
This facility is owned by the Morant Bay Urban Centre. So Factories Corporation, it's facilitating that process. So all of the the documentation that comes in is reviewed by us, and then it will be passed over to the Morant Bay Urban Centre for final approval. So they have not issued an approval on any space at this point. As a matter of fact, as you know, the building is still in construction. But the point I'm making is that there's a process of assessing. There's a number of criteria that are listed. The applicants make their submission, it is reviewed, and then that is turned over to the deciding committee. And that process has not been concluded or even started.
Meanwhile, Dr. Farquharson says an additional 10 acres of land have been purchased to build out office space for operators of small businesses.
We got applications from about 75 clients, and 35 of those clients were under 800 square feet. So the demand from small businesses are very significant, and we decided that it was important. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister had issued a mandate, I believe in his budget speech last year, that FCJ should consider annexing to the urban centers smaller solutions for the small businesses within the communities. Let it not be said, as it's been said now, that we are giving emphasis only to big businesses. So the board was really very shrewd in its action in moving to purchase this 10.3 acres. As I said, the concept designs are now concluded, and we are going to initiate the process of development and planning.
Dr. Donald Farquharson, Managing Director of the FCJ. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the government is taking steps to address reports of immigration challenges faced by Jamaicans at foreign ports of entry. This as reports of abuse in Mexico and other South American countries have increased on social media.
We are very concerned by the reports we've been hearing of in social media for more than one reason. In 2023, the ministry advised that a more restrictive approach was being taken by Mexico and other Central American authorities to reduce the misuse of their borders to enter the United States of America illegally. The government therefore then strongly urged Jamaicans not to misuse particular borders for the purpose of illegal immigration and warned that it was quite possible that lawful travelers would start to be negatively impacted. That is, they could ultimately be negatively impacted.
Minister Johnson-Smith is also urging Jamaicans to adhere to the laws of whichever port of entry they have traveled to.
While the Jamaican government always stands ready to defend and protect the rights of our citizens overseas, we regret to remind that we cannot insist that any state allow any non-citizen to enter that state. No citizen has a right to enter another country other than their own. So we therefore can only work to prevent the contravention of basic rights, of human rights, particularly in terms of unlawful detention or mistreatment.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Members of staff of the University of the West Indies Global Campus in Jamaica have withdrawn their service due to the non-payment of November salaries. The West Indies Group of University Teachers, WIGUT, says the action will remain in force until the situation is resolved satisfactorily. The union is also requesting an emergency meeting with the management of the UWI Global Campus to address the matter. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. Sports is next.
You hear the news? AM Financial give them customers cash back for the Christmas. Cash back! You can get up to $15,000 with every loan disbursed. True. Plus, them increase them loan amount so you can get anything you want. And with every loan, you get a free gift. Free! Apply now at loansale.amfinancialja.com or WhatsApp 876-437-3982. Make sure you apply early. Promotion ends January 31st. Conditions apply.
It's time to service that malfunctioning AC unit. Protect your investment and call Geddes Refrigeration Limited for all your air conditioning services and repairs. Geddes provides maintenance contracts to ensure that your AC is serviced routinely and promptly. Geddes will schedule your next appointment. Book your appointment at 876-923-652-123. Email grljasocialmedia@gmail.com or visit 226 Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11, keeping you cool all year round.
Shop and win a mega kitchen from Megamart. Spend $6,000 or more before GCT at any Megamart location and fill out the entry form provided for a chance to win a brand new stove, fridge, and microwave this Christmas from Appliance Traders Limited. Visit us on social media to win monthly prizes courtesy of Lasco, Grace Foods, and Facey Commodity Company Limited. Promotion runs from September 30 to December 6th. Shop now to win a mega kitchen from Megamart. The best value by far. Conditions apply. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Ribby. We kick things off with some football as at sport time. Glenmuir and Garvey Marcia were locked at 0-0 in semi-final 2 of the Issa Water Da Costa Cup football competition at the National Stadium. Earlier, McGrath beat Ocheres 6-1 in semi-final 1. Canoe Reid gave Ocheres the lead in the 6th minute. However, pressure from McGrath forced an equalizer 1 minute later through an own goal. Farrell Tucker put McGrath in front in the 10th minute before Shane Puget scored in the 22nd, 48th, 54th and 90th minutes. Meanwhile, President of the Jamaica Football Federation, JFF, Michael Ricketts, congratulated Cavalier on becoming the first Jamaican club to win the Caribbean Cup Championship since 2019. Cavalier were crowned 2024 champions despite losing 2-1 against Cibao FC in the return leg of the final in the Dominican Republic last night. Ricketts says Cavalier's achievement is a reflection of the local coaching program.
It is indeed an historic achievement. And no praise would be too much for Rudolph Speed and the Cavalier players who have really made us very, very proud. When you look at what is happening now from a technical perspective and from a coaching standpoint, you look at even schoolboy football, Meron Gordon, the KC coach, Vassy Reynolds, the Glenmuir coach, Peart. These are all A-licensed coaches that have come up through the ranks of our coaching education program. So it speaks volumes for the achievement of these, not the schools, but clubs. So I really, really want to personally say congratulations to Rudolph and to Cavalier.
Michael Ricketts. Cavalier joins Portmore United and Harbourview as Jamaican clubs who have won the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. Harbourview won in 2004 and 2007, while Portmore lifted the trophy in 2005 and 2019. Liverpool saw their lead at the English Premier League summit cut down to 7 points after drawing a remarkable 6-goal thriller against Newcastle. Meanwhile, Kevin De Bruyne impressed on his return to the starting lineup with a goal and an assist as Manchester City got back to winning ways with a resounding 3-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. In other results, Everton blanked Wolverhampton 4-0, Chelsea whipped Southampton 5-1, Arsenal beat Manchester United 2-0, and Aston Villa beat Brentford 3-1. Streaming platform DAZN has secured exclusive rights to broadcast next summer's FIFA Club World Cup. DAZN will show all 63 matches during the expanded 32-team tournament, which takes place in the United States between June 15 and July 13 next year. Every match will be live streamed and free to view on its platforms, while there is also potential for the NZN to sub-license rights to local free-to-air broadcasters. The deal is said to be worth under €1 billion. 8 men and 5 women will battle for the National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year award at the ceremony at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on January 17, 2025. Among the nominees are 6 podium finishers from the Paris Olympics, 5 male and a female. All the nominees on the men's side compete in track and field, which include Akeem Blake, Rashid Broadbell, Rajinja Campbell, Rasheen McDonald, Carey, McLeod, Wayne Pinnock, Roger Stoner and Kishane Thompson. On the women's side, the nominees are cyclist Laurie Sharp and a quartet of track and field athletes Russell Clayton, Akira Nugent, Nikisha Price and Shanika Ricketts. Chairman of the selection committee, Mike Fennell, says the 6 podium finishers in Paris was amazing.
I can talk openly. There was a lot of disappointment with Paris. But it stopped us from celebrating some fantastic performances. And we should remember that, yes, you'll always have disappointments. But let us not interfere with us celebrating those who did so well. Yes.
Fennell says he's looking forward to the award next year.
It's good, we have so many things going on in Jamaica. I know that there's competition for this. Therefore, we have to see how we can mobilize proper celebration of our people, our sportsmen and sportswomen who do so well. I'm so painfully aware of what they do for this country on the international scene. Because I see it all around. When I travel abroad, people talk about it. But we tend to take it for granted in Jamaica. We expect it. And know nothing.
Mike Fennell. Now to horse racing, as the biggest race in local horse racing returns to Caymanas Park with a third running of the multi-mile invitational race for 3-year-old thoroughbreds on December 7. With its historic $250,000 purse, live broadcast on Fox Sports, they confirmed the participation of overseas entrants and a Wild West theme entertainment experience. The third running of the multi-mile invitational is creating a lot of excitement. Corporate manager Colleen Daly-Mushet says the multi-mile is one of the most highly anticipated events on the sports and social calendar in December.
This year it's a US $250,000 purse. So that's approximately 38 million Jamaican dollars that this one race carries for the purse. So of course it's one that the punters will love. And based on the entrants that we have so far, we have 6 coming from overseas, we have some top contenders from the local thoroughbreds. It's a race that will be thrilling from start to finish.
Daly-Mushet says the multi-mile is not just about the racing. She says fashion is a big part of the experience.
Fashion and horse racing are synonymous when you think of any of the big race days overseas, whether it be the Kentucky Derby or the Ascot. There's always some component, some fashion element to it. So, of course, for the multi-mile, we had to do similar. This year, we're going with a Wild West wear theme. So, bring out the cowboy boots, the cowboy hats, the chaps, everything that's Western related. Come on out in your gear on Saturday, and we really just wanted to do something fun, something that connected back to, the spirit of horse racing, and something that everybody could participate in.
Colleen Daly-Mushet. Now to motorsports, as racecar driver Sarah Messier etched her name in the history books at the JRDC Final Showdown held at Dover Raceway. Messier entered the final showdown with a commanding 16-point lead in the MP4 class standings, and a second-place finish in Race 1 secured her 7 additional points to clinch the MP4 class championships. This made her the first woman in history to claim the title. Messier concluded the season with 55 points. This historic achievement also marks Messier as the first driver to win all 4 modified production classes using the same car in its various forms, cementing her legacy in Jamaican motorsports. Rugi Messier is a proud father and coach.
Sarah's commitment and drive, pun intended, has been evident throughout this season. To see her make history in MP4 is an immensely proud moment for our family and for the sport of motor racing altogether. Very proud of her. Malika Pickney.
Sarah is currently in Italy at an e-boat training. Now to softball, as the country's softball has scored a home run, hitting a landmark partnership with the Jamaica Olympic Association (JOA) that sets a platform for its athletes to achieve a place on the Olympic stage. At the very core, there is an establishment for grassroots development through the Roadway sponsorship of the Jamaica Softball Association that yields equipment, plus the resumption of the Intersecondary School Sports Association competition in 2025. The equipment, valued at $1 million, includes batting gloves, batting helmets, balls, softball bats, and field mask. Sponsorship for the high school league is valued at $1.5 million. However, the plan goes beyond just driving development and interest at a high school level, but spreading the game right across the country to unearth talent to offload bases for a run at the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, United States. Now to boxing, as president of the Jamaica Boxing Board, Stephen Jones, described the recent Future Gloves Over Gun fight card at the Standard Coach Gym as a success. The third and final edition of the fight for 2024 featured several bouts on the fight card. In the lone professional bout on the card, D'Angelo Swaby of the Bahamas registered a TKO win over Omar Edmond of St. Thomas Gym after the referee stopped the fight in the third round. Jones says the series showcased the best of what the country have to offer at all levels.
The grassroots level boxing or top elite amateur level boxers that will have a road to the Olympics, use this platform as the road to the Olympics and other international amateur competitions. And then transitioning into the professional fight was a smooth transition, so it was very, very encouraging. The Futures series showcasing all boxers, we're encouraged of what this platform is going to allow and what's going to come from it.
Stephen Jones. Other winners on the night include Anthony Woolery, Devontae Barnes, Kimani Samuel, Romaine Chambers, and Omar Campbell. And finally in golf, transgender women who have gone through male puberty will not be allowed to compete on leading women's golf tours from next year. Updated rules on gender policy will also apply to the United States Golf Association events, including the U.S. Women's Open, and will prevent Scottish-born American Hailey Davidson from seeking membership of the LPGA Tour. The 31-year-old, who transitioned after playing men's college golf in the United States, failed to qualify for a card on the leading women's tour when finishing 95th at the second staging of the LPGAQ school in October. Davidson's participation prompted protest, with 275 female players signing a letter asking for changes to policies which allow people recorded male at birth to compete in women's event. Previously, the LPGA allowed players to compete if they had undergone gender-affirming surgery after puberty and met hormone therapy requirements, but these rules have now been altered. I'm Alex Swaby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
The Live Good initiative is aimed at promoting healthy, respectful relationships at home, at school, and in our communities. Let's return to the days when members of our communities all participated in rearing our children with kindness, good manners, and discipline. Let's respect each other. Let's become our brother's keeper. Let's replace violence with understanding. Let's all strive to live good.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
KFC festive feast for the holidays. All up par with my friends and my family.
KFC, bucket of the flavor. Something for everybody, time for we celebrate. 12 piece of chicken so delicious. Fries, biscuits, coleslaw, mashed potatoes. And the Pepsi. Crunch the holiday with KFC. It's the festive feast for you and
Crunch the holidays with the KFC Festive Feast. 12 pieces of delicious chicken, sides, and a 2-liter Pepsi. Try our new KFC dessert biscuits. KFC, it's finger licking good.
For the Fosridge Christmas in November sale. Shop from November 24 to December 5 and save on chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fans, and LED bulbs. It's cold outside, so ask about our solar water heaters. It's the Fosridge Christmas in November sale. November 24 to December 5. It's a Fosridge.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roadway Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for joining us this evening in our Public Opinion segment. You can weigh in live in the comments, section on today's Public Opinion for sure. So let's get to it. Government Senator and consultant psychiatrist Dr. Sophia Longmore says perpetrators who murder children should face the death penalty.
I think we need to recognize a paradigm shift in the protection of our children. If Kiode know that she would get an automatic death sentence for the manner in which she killed Daniel, it would serve as a significant mental impairment in stopping her from probably committing this crime. I personally am an advocate for when our children are killed or murdered in acts such as this, there should be a mandatory death sentence applied to it. We need to have a stance for the protection of our children.
Senator Sophia Longmore and consultant psychiatrist. The senator was reacting to the sentencing hearing of Coyote Satchel. Now, Satchel confessed to the abduction and murder of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe in June last year. Satchel's attorney, Pierre Rogers, told the court on Monday that his client committed the crime after discovering she had contracted HIV from the child's father. In his appeal for leniency, Rogers said his client didn't abduct Daniel with the premeditated intention of harming her. Rather, he says it was a desperate cry for help to get attention from the child's father. So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, should people who murder children get the death penalty? That's the question we're putting to you. And I'll start with the comments on our social media platform on Facebook. Michelle Bernard is saying anyone, especially if it was done out of hate and malice, who murder people should get the death penalty. All right, Nicholson is saying circumstances differ, so it is a case-by-case process. Yeah? And Natalie Winter is saying yes, but it depends on the circumstances of the case and the evidence presented. Yeah? Wesley Cunningham is saying yes, 100% yes. While Philip Jackson is saying we should not even have a grave of a murderer to look on. Every murderer should be cast into a den of hungry lions. Wow. Philip Jackson is saying along with any lawyer who seek to set them free. And he continues to say Daniel was cast into the lion's den for praying. Do you know how it feels to lose a loved one? Yeah, wow. Oh boy, Shins for Life is saying you don't even have to take a life. Once you're held with an illegal firearm in Jamaica, your penalty should be instant death by any means necessary. That's according to Shins for Life law. Fabian Smith is saying not just a child, just the killing of anyone. People who murder anyone should get the death penalty. Christopher Isaacs is saying it shouldn't matter who you murder, straight death by whatever means. Yeah? You're listening to Public Opinion on Nationwide 90 FM, and I'm turning gears now to our Instagram platform to the question, should people who murder children get the death penalty? Summers is saying it's a controversial topic. and I ask no one to accept my views. All right, let's hear them. But I do not believe in the death penalty. The smallest death possibility that we could kill an innocent person makes me not believe in it. I believe in permanent removal from society. A person convicted of capital murder should be imprisoned for the rest of their lives. He goes on to say, or she goes on to say, that society, and in particular connections of the victim, should not have to contemplate ever seeing or dealing with the murderer again. Yeah? Let me see. Somebody replied to this message here. Off X Marley is saying, I see your point, but they will be cared for with our money. And if I had the option to decide whether I pay tax or not, that alone will let me not want to. Chardonnay is saying yes and yes and yes. There is literally no justification for killing children. One would think there's literally no justification at all for killing. H.M. Queen Bromley is saying yes, automatically. People who murder children should get the death penalty. Yeah? Barb is saying yes. Nico Flaker also saying yes. Tears Drop is saying if it wasn't an accident, yes, give them the chair. York Rich is saying a life for a life. Word 2 has a different view. He's saying no, life in prison without the possibility of parole. DJ Brap is saying make sure it goes for the elites also, the upper class celebrities as well. Letha is saying yes, just look at Florida. They have some of the strictest laws for persons guilty of abusing children. Yeah? And Robert Gregory Lewis is saying yes, because those cannibals must go home to their maker. Wow. Yeah. Jamar is saying people who murder in general, except for cases of self-defense or tax dollars, can be allocated elsewhere than taking care of these vagabonds. All right. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. The question we're putting to you, should people who murder children get the death penalty? And this came about as a result of comments from government senator and consultant psychiatrist Dr. Sophia Longmore. She was reacting to the sentencing hearing of Coyote Satchel, and Satchel confessed to the abduction and murder of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe. The incident happened last year, June. On our X platform, Andre Lawrence says yes, anyone who murders a child proven with beyond doubt should face the death penalty. Child murder is one of the most heinous crimes, and those convicted should be classified. Under capital crimes. This would send a clear message that society prioritizes the protection of its most innocent and vulnerable. Yeah? Kurt Buchanan is asking, how about life in prison with no chance of parole? We all know that no death penalty will be happening. It's on the books. We continue to say that it's on the books. Let me go on over to our YouTubers. Calvin saying yes, or life in prison without parole. Samantha Gordon is agreeing with Senator Longmore, saying I agree. Let me see. Jam Gran also in agreement with the Dr. Longmore. Should be put away for life. Yeah? Iron Lady is saying, but then the doctor woman no make no sense. Then make the doctor a put condition upon the death penalty with our bias. All right. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Audley Bernard is saying yes to the question. Brick Road is saying that Dr. Longmore is right, but we don't have the death penalty, so 100 years. Well, it's on the books. It's just not being used as how you would know death penalty. Melrose Johnson says murder is murder. So I believe you're saying anybody who commits murder. Is that what you're saying? Anybody who commits murder should face the death penalty? Bali is saying obviously yes, I must agree that no circumstances should make you kill a child unless that child is trying to take your life. Mona Smith says she not only got the attention from the child's father, she's getting the attention from all of us. Yeah? Sunny Days Campbell is saying desperate cry with a knife on her. Precious Soul believes it's nonsense. And Samantha Gordon, I said before, agrees with Dr. Sophia Longmore saying that persons who murder children should get the death penalty. Gertrude Brown is also saying yes, she agrees. Yeah? All right, let me see if I can get in a few more before I have to go. Timothy Reed is saying he agrees with the senator. Yeah? And let me see if I can get in a few more. CJ Martinez says yes, but I don't think the Privy Council will ever agree. Dwayne Thomas saying yes, they should be, and not for only kids, for anyone. And I'm seeing a whole lot of yes, yes, yes here. Yeah? Let me see if I can get in a few more. Yeah? Errol Morris saying yes, indeed, I agree with her. Texas still have it. Yeah? All right, that's the time we have for public opinion this evening. Remember, you do have the option of agreeing and or disagreeing because you are indeed entitled to your own opinion. Yeah? That's the time we have, but do stay tuned. Up next, the business report.
Public opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Motorists should see a decrease at the pumps in the price of gasoline effective Thursday, December 5. Now, that's according to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam. 90 octane will decrease by $3.06 per litre. 87 octane will also go down by $3.06 per litre. Automotive diesel fuel will see a decrease of $3.06 per litre, while ultra-low sulfur diesel will go down by $2.94 per litre. Kerosene will see a decrease by $3.06 per litre. Propane liquid petroleum will go down by 77 cents per litre, and butane liquid petroleum will decrease by 92 cents per litre. The Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, has announced the election of Mr. Daniel Best, a native of Barbados, as the 7th president of the institution. The CDB says decision reached today underscores the bank's commitment to visionary leadership and sustainable development across the Caribbean region. The CDB says Mr. Best brings a wealth of experience and a deep understanding of the region's development challenges and opportunities. Now, as president, Mr. Best will oversee the bank's strategic direction, focusing on its core mandate to reduce poverty and inequality while fostering inclusive and sustainable growth. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 62 cents to buy $1 US, 199 Jamaican dollars and 11 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 113 Jamaican dollars and 14 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robian Williams. Good evening.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
IQ Optical's Black Friday frame sale is back. Get your trendy optical frame or a frame for every occasion. Come and enjoy 50% off frames in stock. Book your appointment or take your prescription to IQ Optical New Kingston, Bennett Park or Draxall.
Are you ready for real rewards this Christmas? Reel in big cash prizes and big appliances with Rainforest Real Rewards. On now at supermarkets island-wide. Enter to win cash prize of $500,000 or a stove or fridge. Any 2 Rainforest products, including shrimp, and enter online or WhatsApp between November 1 and December 15. Each receipt is an entry. Enter as many times as you want. This Christmas, win real rewards. Only with Rainforest. Authorized by the BGLC. Terms and conditions apply.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We are having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really clip you started?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Bahamian. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Clip News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Taboo topics. Boy Things After Dark.
Riveting discussions.
Celebrity news and interviews.
Topics that are shunned by society.
And everything else in between.
Boy Things After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boy Things After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boy Things After Dark.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Teen Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, listeners and viewers. It is 6:42 and time for the nation's business. I'm Siobhan Campbell. I'll be joined a short while by Mr. Brooks, who stepped away for just a few minutes. Well, we'll get right into it. The Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, says 6 people who were arrested in a multi-million-dollar smishing scam are believed to have stolen more than 14 million Jamaican dollars from an elderly customer of the National Commercial Bank. Smishing uses fake text messages to trick people into downloading malware which shares sensitive information or sends money to cyber criminals. The arrests were made in a series of targeted operations spanning 6 locations across 4 parishes. They are St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and Kingston. In an update on Wednesday, MOCA says the 6 suspects are believed to have stolen $45,000 from the customer. That's the equivalent of over 7 million Jamaican dollars. A further 7.4 million Jamaican dollars was also stolen from the elderly NCB customer. MOCA says the stolen money was distributed to a number of beneficiaries using a sophisticated smishing scam. The cyber attacks are alleged to have taken place in March last year. Well, to discuss the updates for this, MOCA's Director of Communications, Major Basil Jarrett, he joins us now. And I understand we're to be joined by the chairman of the Jamaica Bankers Association's Anti-Fraud Committee, Dane Nicholson, rather. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Siobhan. How you do?
So, let's start with you, Major Jarrett. What's the latest in terms of these smishing criminals? Have they been charged?
They have not been charged as yet. The operation targeted the 6 persons across the 4 parishes, as you mentioned earlier. We started the operations late last night. It took us quite a while, but we were able to apprehend the last suspect sometime at about 10 o'clock this morning. All 6 persons have been arrested, and we're now going through the formal processes to have them charged. We expect to have that wrapped up sometime tomorrow.
Can you explain to us how this started in terms of how did they key in on this specific victim and how they managed to get essentially 14 million Jamaican dollars from this gentleman or elderly person?
Well, my understanding is that they use the SMS messaging system to send numbers or codes to the person, to the gentleman's phone. That SMS message may have contained a link to an outside website that the person probably clicked into and then handed over his information there, and from then they were able to access his bank accounts and make the withdrawals. In a very broad fashion, that's essentially what smishing is.
That's a very sophisticated system. And how was MOCA able to essentially track them down and essentially pin it to 6 different beneficiaries?
Well, very importantly, when NCB detected the anomalies, they reached out to us and asked for assistance in doing investigations. What's interesting is that the incidents occurred sometime in March last year, and it's taken over a year and a half to apprehend the criminals, just due to how sophisticated some of these crimes are, and also the stress that it places on MOCA's own cyber investigative capabilities to track them down. But as we can see, as we say in Jamaica, long run, short catch, we are very happy to be able to break the back of this particular crime today.
And is there any hope for the victim that these funds can be recovered at all?
I'm going to let Dane handle that one.
Well, then that's a good point to bring you in, Mr. Nicholson. What is your reaction to this smishing scam, and what are the chances of the elderly victim getting those funds back?
Yes. So, initial reaction, I want to extend thanks to MOCA for their stick-to-itiveness in pursuing this matter. It shows that collaboration can breed results, and this is definitely a use case that we can cascade across the industry to show that, one, even though it will take some time, banks should stick to it, and I want to encourage all the banks across the industry to continue to report the matters to the relevant authorities, not just MOCA, if MOCA is the one that has the competence and capabilities like what we at NCB did at this time, because they have an excellent cybercrime team that has the wherewithal to investigate sophisticated matters of this nature. As it relates to the elderly customer who suffered the loss, so let me tell you broadly how financial institutions operate. So financial institutions have contributory and non-contributory fraud refund policy. So if a customer did not contribute to what caused them to lose funds, they will get back 100% reimbursement. If the customer contributes to the fraud, either through collusion, negligence, or for whatever the reason is, then it's a discretionary matter. The financial institution will balance customer experience to determine whether or not they will reimburse the customer, yes or no. And for elderly customers, they are very dear to all the financial institutions are, so we'll put special arrangements for them to be treated as fairly as possible.
I'm happy to hear that, Mr. Nicholson. And there seems to be quite a rise in these kind of phishing and smishing activities. I mean, sometimes I receive a few on my phone, and it's just something in my mind that just clicks and says, no, don't press that, because they look so realistic oftentimes. Is there anything that banks can do in terms of the back end so that even if a customer inadvertently clicks a link that could essentially steal their identity, isn't there anything that the banks can do from the back end to essentially say, wait, this is suspicious, we're not going to allow this to go through?
So the banks have done a lot of things. So NCB has implemented, we have implemented a strict no-click, no-link policy. So that's one red flag that customers can look out for, to say once you get a message and it purports, whether email or SMS, it purports to be coming from NCB, once it has a link in it, it's a fraud. Other financial institutions have what we refer to as solicited versus unsolicited links. So some institutions still communicate via link, but if you never solicit and you get it, disregard it. It's a possible scam. Across the industry, two-factor authentications have been implemented, so persons' RSA tokens play a critical part in it. Unfortunately, these smishing scam also asks these customers to provide the token code, and even after they get one token code, what they are also doing is calling the customer, executing phishing attacks. And phishing is when fraudsters call customer pretending to be from a financial institution to trick them into divulging sensitive information, and what they'll do is ask them for multiple token codes. We across the industry have also transaction alerts where we send customer, some send SMS, some send email to ask them to, if they aren't aware of these transactions, to respond appropriately. The financial institutions also have their own monitoring capabilities where once they detect suspicious transaction, they'll put a hold on them and call the customers to verify those transactions. Unfortunately, sometimes when fraudsters are targeting customers in these sophisticated scams, they execute what are referred to as a SIM swap, and when the financial institution call the customers, they might not end up get the customer, and the person they get on the phone will authorize the transaction to say yes, that they are the ones who were doing the transaction, even though the financial institution deemed it suspicious. But once you call the customer and they confirm it, then the financial institution will put through the transaction.
Okay. Could you stay on the line for us, gentlemen? We are up on a break.
Payroll made simple and secure. Get automated with BizPay, an integrated payroll and HR solution powered by MC Systems. Contact them today. The time by MC Systems is
6:51.
I only have Hanes. Make yourself comfortable in authentic Hanes underwear. Nothing beats the never out of style ultra soft 100% premium cotton Hanes underwear. Hanes Comfort Fit V, crew neck and A shirts, absorbent Hanes socks, Comfort Flex Hanes boxer briefs for men, and stylish itch-free Hanes underwear for women and kids. Make yourself comfortable this holiday season, inside, out, and underneath with Hanes underwear for that cool all-day comfort everyone deserves.
I only have Hanes for you.
For for the Fosridge Christmas in November sale. Shop from November 24 to December 5 and save on chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fans, and LED bulbs. It's cold outside, so ask about our solar water heaters. It's the Fosridge Christmas in November sale. November 24 to December 5. It's a Fosridge.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the nation's business as we're discussing this $14 million fraud that was perpetuated on a customer of the elderly, broken by the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA. We have from MOCA the Director of Communications, that's Major Basil Jarrett, as well as the Chairman of the Anti-Fraud Committee for the Jamaica Bankers Association, Dane Nicholson. So I'd like to bring you back, Major Jarrett, in terms of the rise of a lot of these technically savvy scams. Are you seeing where they're still going up, or is MOCA making progress in essentially bringing this down, and are customers becoming more aware of the potential dangers?
Yeah, I think we've accepted that these cyber attacks are going to be a perennial part of our lives going forward. We don't see any downturn or break in the incidents happening any soon for a number of reasons. One, coming out of COVID, we've seen an explosion in the amount of persons who, for some reason, may have been previously offline. They're now online, younger and older persons. That creates a new market for criminals to exploit. People who are just coming online might not be on top of their cybersecurity practices, so vulnerable people are, plentiful. We're also seeing the advent of AI and machine learning, which is going to make it easier for cyber criminals to exploit these vulnerabilities. I mean, AI and machine learning makes, they can do things that would normally take hours. They can do it in seconds. So that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. You also have a situation where more and more companies are looking to leverage technology in order to make it more convenient for customers to do business, but there's always a trade-off between convenience and security. And the final piece of the puzzle too is that we in law enforcement are always almost one step behind the criminals. If there's a technique or tactic that they're using today, by the time we discover it and beat it, they're on to the next big thing. So we don't see any break or any let-up in the near future. What we advise persons is to take it seriously. In just the same way you wouldn't, go to bed at nights without checking if the doors were locked. Ensure that you have strong passwords on your accounts. Ensure that you don't share these passwords with anyone. Be careful where you're logging in to access the internet. It's a whole new mindset, and unless we begin to shift with the changing technologies, we're always going to be one step behind, playing catch up in this cat and mouse game.
And that's where I'd like to bring you in, Dane Nicholson. As the Major pointed out, especially when it comes to the elderly, they may not be as technically minded as many of us younger Jamaicans. How do banks assist them, particularly when it comes to navigating online transactions and safeguarding their accounts, particularly against potential fraud?
Definitely. So even though this particular scam targets the elderly, and I'm going to give them some tips on some of the things that we do, but based on the data that we have, 60% of the persons who fall victims to scams like these are between the age of 18 and 34. So it's not necessarily targeting the elderly. A lot of them are young Gen Z persons who love to take action quick. So when fraudsters send them these smishing message to tell you that you need to click on the link to restore your bank account because your password is about to expire in 72 hours, a lot of these young persons, they are not going to take the time to read. They are going to click on the link and enter their information. As it relates to the elderly, customer education is key, and financial institutions, NCB and others, have taken steps to ensure that we educate our elderly customers, put special provisions for them. So there's the Gold Club lines across the network where our elderly can go and seek assistance. We have also been disseminating information. We have had sessions, particularly targeting the elderly. We have gone to the church, we have gone to the senior citizens associations across the country and have special discussions to educate them on the do's and don'ts. But as Major said earlier, we are approaching the Christmas season, and I agree that there will be a significant increase in the proliferation of fraudulent activities. So I want to take this opportunity to advise customers to proceed with caution, follow your institution best practices. Institutions like us at NCB, we have a strict no-click, no-link policy. So if you get an email or an SMS, once it have a link in it, don't click on it. Other institutions have solicited and unsolicited links. Follow the best practices, because despite our best efforts, smishing and phishing and other, we can't eliminate them. But what we can do is to put things in place to make it a lot more robust and more difficult for fraudsters to execute these type of activity, because they are coming to person's personal cell phone and we can't block or the providers, albeit that we have gotten very good collaboration from the telecom provider, but it's not something that we can eliminate. So the customers will have to listen to the best practices that is being provided by their institution.
Dan Nicholson, I heard you saying that you're seeing a proliferation of these scams. The younger population, they're being targeted, perhaps because their fingers are just quicker. So I heard the strategies targeting the elderly to ensure that they're aware and that they're educated about these. Have you sought to target young people in the same way to say, hey, you perhaps shouldn't be so quick to click?
Definitely. We have had multiple campaigns across the industry, and NCB has taken the lead. We have started something, Fighting Fraud Friday, where we send tips via email. We post them on social media, and all our social media platforms have had those type of educational information to target not just the young, but right across the population. And we have had videos where they have engaged what's it, the name of the artist now slipping me, the producer, where we had the...
Well, maybe it's effective, because I actually know his who's Russian.
Yes, Russian.
So I've seen it, so okay, maybe it is effective.
So we have done a lot of things to educate, but unfortunately, a lot of persons are too quick to click, and that is what is going to cause the demise of a lot of the customers. Because once you click on the link, yes, we as financial institutions will continue to implement and invest heavily. We have invested billions of dollars to ensure that our customers remain safe and secure. But if customers continue to unwittingly surrender their information, either by clicking on links or when fraudsters call them executing phishing attack, where they call them pretending to be employees of financial institution, then they're going to fall, as unfortunate as it is, they're going to fall victims to matters like these. But what we continue to do is to collaborate with law enforcement, because whilst we can't eliminate it, once we continue to fight the good fight and put pressure on them, then we will see a reduction in it. But we are in the Yuletide season, so you're going to see an increase in smishing, phishing, vishing, and also triangulation fraud, because you'll see a lot of shopping online. So I'm encouraging our customers across the industry to proceed with caution when shopping online. Ensure that you look for the S in the HTTPS, or you look for the padlock on the right-hand corner to ensure that the site is secure, and do not conduct any shopping or banking on free Wi-Fi, because the information can be intercepted unless you're doing it over VPN, which is a virtual private network where the information is encrypted.
All right, and I want some advice on one more thing, because you mentioned, for example, the calling and impersonating a representative of the banks. Are there any telltale signs you could say to our listeners this evening? If the call is proceeding in this kind of way, perhaps it's not authentic.
Definitely. So if somebody call you from a financial institution and they ask you to provide any personal information, so even though I'm going to divulge a little secret across the industry, so banks, when they call you, they don't ask you for certain information. So if you call me, I verify you by asking you your name and other information. Once I call you on a particular number that we have on file for you, then we are not going to ask you certain validation questions. So once they're asking you for your TRN, once they're asking you for your username, once they ask you for your password, once they ask you for your token code, anything, your credit card number, expiry date, those are glaring red flags. That person should look out for and know that the call is going down the wrong road. And I know one of the major scams that they have now where they call them and tell them that the token need resetting and they need to provide them with a token code. I know of a case where one customer actually provide. Sit on the phone with this fraudster and provide them with 18 different token codes and all the funds in their account was wiped out.
And Major Jarrett, if I get a call from a particular number, I follow Dane Nicholson's advice, I end the call. Do I assist Mocha in any way if I, for example, pass on the number that the call came from?
No, absolutely. We established our 888 Mocha tip hotline 2 years ago for this very same reason. If you believe that the call was suspicious, if you don't feel comfortable in a telephone interaction that you just had, certainly call the bank, but certainly feel free to call us as well at 888 Mocha Tip. Let us decide whether or not, this is a legitimate concern, whether this was a legitimate crime. Because we might just be a little bit more savvy and a little bit more aware of the techniques that persons are using. So absolutely, we encourage persons to report these incidents to us.
And it's 1-888 Mocha
Tip. Yes.
All right. Major Basil Jarrett is the Director of Communications of Mocha, and Dane Nicholson is also with us, Chairman of the Anti-Fraud Committee of the Jamaica Bankers Association. Gentlemen, keep up the good work and the good fight.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you. We take the break, come back with more.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
GK1 now introduces third-party motor insurance from GK General Insurance. Download and log into the GK1 app, then select one of 3 affordable third-party options. The time by GK General Insurance is...
It's 4 minutes after 7.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really clip you started?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Bahamian. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Click News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Six minutes after 7. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're turning our attention now to chaotic scenes in the Bahamian Parliament. And I'm sorry, every time I watch the video, I just saw it a while ago, of what happened. Have you seen it?
I've not seen the video. I've received a description of the video and I was flabbergasted.
No, so a dramatic protest, listeners, erupted in the Bahamas House of Assembly on Wednesday when a member of Parliament threw the mace through a window. And for those of you who don't know, the mace is the symbol.
It's essentially, this suggests that the Parliament is in
session. Right, and it represents the monarch in the Parliament. It's a symbol of the Parliament's authority. Yes. This member of Parliament threw it through a window, expressing frustration during heated discussions about corruption Now, the incident comes amid heightened tensions in the Bahamas following the arrest of several high-ranking police officials in Florida. They were arrested in Florida during a cocaine sting operation, and the controversy has placed mounting pressure on the Commissioner of Police, Clayton Leroy Fernander, who ultimately resigned his post. The Prime Minister, Philip Davis, confirmed the resignation during his presentation to the House of Assembly. Now, tensions boiled over after a verbal exchange between the MPs and the Speaker of the Assembly. And video footage shows the MP walking up to the Speaker's desk, I kid you not, grabbing the mace, which is a symbol of the authority of the Parliament, represents the monarch in Parliament, and just throw it through a window. And before we go to our guests, I think what makes it so hilarious to me is that in my mind I'm saying, can you imagine Mark Golding taking up the mace in the House of Representatives and just running down Duke Street with it?
We just walk out, isn't that it?
We just
get
walk
up
out.
and walk.
But here's the video, listeners. Here's the video before we go to our guests.
Now I will say, get him! Ah, my. My lord, 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 my lord. My lord, I mean, all over me. You think it's right? Do you think it's right? Honorable members, remove that member from this place.
The Speaker says,
My lord, my lord.
My lord.
Simultaneously, protests were underway outside the Parliament building, where opposition supporters already gathered to voice their grievances and erupted in celebration as the commotion inside unfolded. Prime Minister Davis described the event as a disgrace before exiting the Assembly amidst uproar. Well, joining us now to discuss what happened today is the CEO of Magnetic Media, that's DeAndrea Hamilton. Good afternoon. Good evening, rather.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Well, we're looking on quite amused. And I have to ask you, is this kind of thing common in the House of Assembly in the Bahamas?
Well, you know, it's happened about 59 years ago. It's not uncommon in terms of the fact that our first Prime Minister and his team, well, it wasn't him specifically, but Milo Butler, they threw the mace out of the window. So the mace has flown out of the window before, when there was a thought by the opposition that they weren't being heard, that the people weren't being taken seriously. At that time, the debate was over gerrymandering or alleged gerrymandering, the cutting of boundaries. Mm-hmm. This time, it's over just a series of hits that the police force and the government have taken in terms of corruption, and what that has ultimately amounted to, from alleged killings and drug trafficking, arms trafficking, undermining of the Operation Bahamas Turks and Caicos mission, which is to circumvent contraband and human smuggling efforts. You know, so you have this build-up and the opposition feeling like it's not being heard, the people aren't getting its voice across, and so in dispute, up jumps the member from Barnabas, Shannon Don Cartwright, the deputy leader of the FNM, and he tosses the mace out of the window to some scaffolding below where it breaks. It's patched back together, but of course the people were cheering and felt vindicated by the action.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of, just so our listeners understand, the composition of the Assembly, the government has about how many seats in the Assembly?
Oh, that's a great question. All I know is it was a landslide historic victory.
Yeah.
And you have maybe about 5, 6 members on the opposition side. The leader of the opposition was up at the time. And like I said, it's just this constant wrangling in the House over what he believes is a diff opportunity for him to speak. He's being, sidebarred. And I think it wasn't too surprising to me that it led to this, because if it wasn't sometimes the House just being suddenly just closed down, or him being, it's not the first time he's been tossed out of the House. So this is a row that tends to happen anytime there's a really contentious issue, and I guess the way and the charges and the allegations or the accusations he flings at the other side. The Speaker of the House is trying to tame that, curb any kind of flare-up, but it didn't work today. Today, from behind, they just came out and did a surprising thing. I think it caught everybody off guard in terms of it actually happening.
What's the mood like in the country? I understand that the opposition staged protests outside of the Assembly building, but what is the general mood like in the country currently?
Generally, people are frustrated by the corruption allegations. I'm really embarrassed, really startled by the depth of this case, and I'm convinced that though it's being called allegations, the common thought is that the United States, as your listeners and yourself probably aware, has good information, good intel on the arrest they've made, up to 13 men, 11 of them Bahamian, at least 2 of them linked to the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. And that came on top of a really soaring murder rate, a lot of violence, and just disappointment in the police force, which has been really hit with quite a number of serious corruption allegations in the last few months. So it like I said, it's been a build-up. This wasn't out of the blue for Bahamians. Bahamians have been voicing their frustration about how these things have been handled. And last week it was the Coalition of Independents political party. This week it was the Free National Movement, actually beginning by bringing a coffin onto Bay Street in front of Parliament. And it escalated to this, as the House Speaker called it, this dark day where the mace was tossed out of the window.
And the scandals that you're seeing in the Bahamas, do you think it represents a real threat to the government of Philip Davis?
I think it does, because it's on his watch. And just as the Bahamian people are now applauding the resignation of the Commissioner of Police, who, though he distanced himself from the actual alleged actions of these officers who are entangled in this indictment that the U.S. Attorney's Office revealed to him last Monday, it's almost like, but you're the boss, you're the leader. You're supposed to be culpable in some respect. You're supposed to take responsibility. How do you not know what's going on? And if you're not included in an operation such as this with the U.S., then does that mean they do not trust you? And then, of course, because he's appointed by the Prime Minister, current Prime Minister, there's going to be that question. Sadly, our commissioners seem to be appointed by our Prime Ministers, and so you often have that feeling, even if it's not true, that there's some level of collusion. The Prime Minister has denied that that's true, that he's on the side of integrity, he's on the side of anti-corruption. But for Bahamian people, it's just been so many years of it that they're just really done with being told that and want to see something significant happen. And this is about the most significant thing that I've ever seen happen in my years as a journalist, that a commissioner would resign under such strong allegations. And now the nation is demanding a commission of inquiry into what actually happened, who was involved, and one political party has asked the Prime Minister to call an election.
Yeah. And just before you come in, Siobhan, just to tell our listeners that, as we just heard, the Prime Minister has now appointed a new Commissioner of Police. ACP Shanta Knowles has been appointed the first female Commissioner of Police of the Bahamas.
And that's what I would like to ask you, ma'am. Has that inspired any renewed confidence in the law enforcement system and this matter of corruption allegations with the appointment of the new commissioner?
I haven't sensed that as yet, because it's pretty fresh information. It was running about and just put out into public domain since earlier today. And the reaction to her is favorable. She is seen as a strong officer. She's seen as someone upright, a good, strong leader. And so I think people agree wholeheartedly with that description when the Prime Minister offers it. But does this really do it for the Bahamian people in terms of the amount of allegations, the serious level of corruption that has been, just bombarding the police and really causing them some serious reputational damage? I guess by the light of day, we'll see what people really say and what the reactions are really like. But from what I've seen, this hasn't done much of a bump in terms of restoring public confidence.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue to watch the developments in the Bahamas. As I said, I've never seen anything like that. But we're hearing from Andrea Hamilton.
A member of Parliament before actually shackle himself to the mace as well. So we've had the mace.
So that poor mace has been abused.
I actually joked with in one of my groups today that the Mesa said, "Leave me outside. When you all get it together, bring me back in." But it's not completely strange, and I think for the Bahamian people, it has now come to represent when people have really reached fever pitch with the level of frustration. And so the Prime Minister and his team would be wise to now really take this seriously and make serious moves toward restoring public confidence, because this report by the U.S. really has scarred Bahamians deeply. They feel embarrassed, ashamed at what is being said about so many officers that do a good job, as well as the whole cloud of suspicion that now hangs over the Bahamas. And this is after earlier this year, being labeled as a place where, people are being gunned down every day, because that's how the year actually started. So the level of crime, the corruption allegations against the police force, both domestically and now internationally, I think has just been a lot for Bahamians. Currently, the Free National Movement is having a meeting. And so who knows what they're going to announce or say tomorrow to the people. No one has been arrested, even though they say a police officer, the Prime Minister reported a police officer was hurt in the melee today. So we will see if anyone faces charges in relation to what has happened. And so I don't even know what kind of message it sends that no one was taken into custody. How serious are we taking this mace and the behavior in the House of Assembly? Again, I just think it's really fresh today, and once it sinks in tonight, I believe some real interesting results will unravel over the next few days.
Andrea Hamilton, CEO of Magnetic Media over there in the Bahamas. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate the perspectives.
No problem. Thank you to you. I'll take good care.
All right, have a good one. And you see, here in Jamaica, when man get up and walk out, everybody up in arms. Well, maybe a walkout is preferable.
Well, maybe it means that we still have a sense of decorum.
To the routine abuse of the mace. Shackling yourself to it, throwing it through the window. I mean, it would be a tad bit more difficult to throw our mace.
There's nowhere to
because you'd have to grab it. You'd have to grab it from the front. You'd have to run to the back, then get out.
And even then, the door is closed. The window is sealed.
So it would be a little bit more difficult to throw ours through. But it's a thought, a type of protest, I suppose. And she said it has come to represent a kind of protest.
I think a lot of Jamaicans do not properly understand that. As much as things seem backward here to an extent.
Oh, it pales in comparison.
Exactly.
I've seen parliaments where man throw a cheer. South Africa, for example. Exactly. South Africa, for example. Famous for just getting into outright brawls. The most we see is a little shouting and, sit down and shut your mouth. Pales. I mean, I'm not saying the behavior is, but it pales. We'll continue to watch the situation over there in our CARICOM neighbor, the Bahamas. We're going to take your calls now. The numbers, no, we're not going to take your calls. We're going to have Siobhan's favorite segment, The Watchman.
Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The time by the 1JN Passport app is
7:21.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Jamaica's economic fortunes tied to tourism success. When it comes to being the consummate marketer, Adam Stewart is a chip off the old block. Butch Stewart. Case in point. Wednesday, October 16, 2024, Sandals Resorts International, SRI, the Caribbean's tourism megaforce, for which Adam succeeded his late father as executive chairman, brought 1,000 travel agents from across the globe for a day in Jamaica under the theme Sandals Jamaica Love Showcase. In a speech delivered to a gathering of local and foreign tourism stakeholders and business partners held at the Montego Bay Convention Center, the SRI head honcho dropped a genius of a value proposition. I quote, "Jamaica's brand has never been bigger. Jamaica is a rock star, and Sandals is a rock star brand too. It is the biggest, most recognized corporate brand ever to come out of the Caribbean." End quote. That SRI is a rock star brand is not in doubt. Some years ago, Interbrand, the world leader in brand strategy, design, and valuation, named SRI one of the top 20 brands in the 56 member countries of the British Commonwealth. Here is the challenge, though. How to transfer the model from a resort, SRI, to the destination, Jamaica. Overcoming the problem is easier said than done. By my calculation, the value of brand Jamaica is between 32 and 37 billion United States dollars. Roughly twice gross domestic product, GDP, of 17 billion United States dollars. Why the gap between the country's brand value and the value of the goods and services it produces? The question is partly answered by pointing to those issues Adam Stewart carefully avoided in his masterful sales pitch, as reported. I will identify just three. 1. The sometimes chaotic and unwelcoming situation at our airports. 2. The harrowing experience traveling by road from the airport to hotel and from hotel to attractions. 3. Crime, violence, and harassment. Notwithstanding the environmental, logistic, and social setbacks and negative United States travel advisories, Jamaica's tourism is forging ahead. The front page headline of the December 1, 2024 edition of the Sunday Observer captures the dynamism and optimism. I quote, "Strong winter tourism season looms. Forward bookings spike after Sandals Jamaica Love promotion." End quote. This is good news, not just for SRI. In destination marketing, a rising tide lifts all boats, large, small, and in between, and ultimately Jamaica's economy. Jamaica's tourist season officially starts December 15 and runs through April the following year. There are strengths and opportunities the government, industry players, and all of us working together can immediately leverage, even as we work at resolving the more entrenched problems requiring longer-term solutions. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
calling all tradesmen, small contractors, skilled workmen, and small entrepreneurs. Whether you want to start or expand your business or get equipment for your projects, Total Tools will help you tool up and expand your business. Get up to $500,000 to borrow, up to 2 years to repay, and interest rates as low as 3.99%. Come for your loan to get your tools. Offer ends June 2025. Visit Total Tools in Kingston, Ocho Rios, and Drex Hall to get a loan for every tool and every trade.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dusk,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
Wait, before we go to you can play the video for me again. just play one more time for me, Dana, because listeners, it's just, oh my lord, it's so funny. Here's again what happened in the Bahamian House of Assembly. Yeah, when an opposition member, literally took up mace, symbol of parliamentary authority, the symbol that represents the monarch in the parliament, and just threw it through the window.
Now I will say, get him! Ah, my. My lord, my lord, my lord, my lord. My lord, 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 my lord. I mean, all over me. You think it's right? Do you think it's right? Honorable members, remove that member from this place.
Here is what gets me, Dana, Siobhan.
It's not the man.
Get him. It's a get him. It's not the my lord, you know. The speaker said, get him. It's 7:30. We're taking. I love democracy. Remove that member. We're taking your calls now. 630-937-124. All over me. 618-8255. Omalo, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Siobhan. Good evening, Ricardo.
Good evening, Omalo.
Yeah, I'm seeking your opinion on two things I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Hearing the minister talk about the transportation system for kids, don't you think we should pursue trying to bring up schools to a fair standard where kids don't have to leave long distance to go to a school because it's better than the school closest to them?
Agreed 100%.
And that will help. We need a bus system enough, but that will help eliminate a lot of this long traveling where kids have to be traveling and waking up early and all these type of things.
Yeah, I think that would go some ways in assisting with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the next thing.
And if I could just add on, and I think there's a way in which it keeps some communities poor. And what do I mean by that? If you have to travel outside of the community to access quote-unquote good education, and sometimes in a lot of these communities there is a school there, you know, but the students don't aspire to go to that school. Yeah, they want to go to another school.
I mean, brain drain happens not just on the global level.
Absolutely.
It happens in terms of the community and township
Yeah,
level as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Omalo.
Yeah. The next thing, we are here, yeah, and it is costing us a lot of money for these by-elections. You don't think it's time that Parliament amend the law that the party that gained the seat in the general election, the leader of the opposition or the leader or the prime minister, should choose the person to fill that seat?
That would be too gross a violation of democratic principles.
It's something the Americans practice. The Americans practice it.
You sure, Siobhan?
That to me is a very gross violation of democratic, especially in a Westminster system.
Yeah, the Americans practice it, Omalo, where they allow the governor of the state to fill the vacancy. But I agree. Hold on. But I agree with Siobhan.
But that would be only on temporary basis.
Yes,
there's still the intention to have an election.
Yeah, you fill the remainder of the term, and then at the next election.
That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is,
we are wasting a lot of money for these elections that somebody just fill themselves in as an independent just to run against the guy and costing us 30 million.
But don't lose sight of Siobhan's point, which is that in the Westminster tradition, because we don't have a fixed date, the Prime Minister would still have the prerogative to call an election at any time. So there's no fixity in it. While in the American system there's a fixity. So you know you're going to serve until the next November, except for
until the next election is called. There is somebody filling the seat without costing us.
And remind me, in the United States, the Congress term is 2 years, not the 4
the House
that
of
we enjoy here.
So the House of Representatives is 2, the Senate is 6. Yeah. But
and,
I mean,
there are senators that are appointed by governors
Yes.
to spend out the time when senators walk away.
Yes.
But that's certainly in a period where the time is expected to be short, as in you're not expected to fill that role for a particularly long period of time.
I mean, the state laws differ because some will have a special election.
You're worrying about Siobhan?
No, I think Siobhan is worried about how democratic that is. And here is why, Omalo. Because the fact that I voted for a particular candidate from a particular party at the last election does not mean at the time that a vacancy may arise that I still retain confidence in that political leader or that political party. And so in that scenario, I suppose what Siobhan is saying, as a democratic matter, I should get the opportunity to choose another representative, if indeed I want another representative.
In that same breath, as you look at it in that way,
Mhm.
why don't we just have recall then also too? Because maybe I vote for this person and within 2 years' time I'm not satisfied.
But
with this
recall,
person.
I agree
So just
with.
let's recall him.
But the recall
Is that
the ability to recall an MP if you believe they're underperforming, I agree with.
Is that would you see that to be democratic?
A recall process?
Yes, I don't disagree with the recall
absolutely.
process.
Because it would still be the people indicating one way or the other whether they have confidence in their representative. That would be democratic.
But
Yeah, man.
the person died, and we have a law. We have a law on the book that that say the prime minister, or the leader of the opposition, replace this person. The people going to the poll know that this is the law of the land, and they're participating in the election. Don't you think that's democratic?
Yeah, but what you are proposing is that the political leader of the party that last won the seat makes the appointment.
That's what I'm saying. And the people going to the poll after the law as amended would know that's the process. So knowing that's the process, wouldn't that be democratic?
I mean, it's something that I suppose can be discussed, but again, the trade-off is whether the democratic principle that is at stake should be forfeited in order to save some money.
As a matter of the public purse, I understand where you're coming from, Omalu. Yes, in terms of the cost of an election. But at the end of the day, I don't think we in Jamaicans put the cost of democracy in any real perspective.
And if I'm being honest with you, Omalu, I think we need more democracy in Jamaica, not less.
This is it, Siobhan, and you see, we here in Jamaica, you know, it's as if we get templates, manuals as to how to practice things, and even if it's not serving us, let's do it this way, because this is the way it is democratic, or this is the way they do it, the masters do it.
No, Omar. I mean, in my opinion, democracy is a principle. And there are certain ways that you go around organizing that principle. And even if in the United States it practices a certain way, first, I don't agree that the United States system is wholly democratic. They also don't believe that. They believe they have a Republican system in which that Republican system actually, the intention is to limit the power of the majority. It's not a wholly democratic system. So I don't agree with you on that principle, Omalo, that the Prime Minister should essentially be, or the person, or opposition, it should essentially be a king sayer in the election of a member of Parliament. I don't believe that should be the case.
They do it with the Senate.
But the Senate is not a democratic body. Nobody here claims it to be. Because regardless of the composition of the Senate, and ironically, Omalo, you're proving my point. The Senate was created as a check and balance on democracy.
I'm not proving your point.
You have. The Senate in Jamaica is created as a check and balance on democracy to make it a frustrating system to change major laws. That is why it exists. It is an undemocratic creation.
It was meant to be a sort of upper house of experts and elders, the wise ones.
How would it take away from the democratic system that we have? How would it take away from the democratic system?
Because what it says is that regardless of how many MPs you vote in, 60-3, there's still 8 senators who can block any major legislation that requires a constitutional adjustment.
I'm talking about the Prime Minister or the opposition.
Because that means the Prime Minister is the one who decides who my next MP is, and not me at the polls. That's a simple democratic principle, Omalu. Regardless of where we are in terms of the Westminster system is decided that we vote for MPs, not Prime Ministers.
That's another thing to consider doing, Omalu. The fact that I also did not vote for the Prime Minister, and then you would vest the Prime Minister with the power to make an appointment on my behalf. I didn't vote for the Prime Minister. I didn't vote for a leader of the opposition.
I didn't vote for the Prime Minister to be the Prime Minister, but I get the Prime Minister. Is that democratic?
It is not the most democratic system, no. But that's what we're saying. So you would be compounding the problem. You'd be
talking about perfection.
No, it's not perfection. No. Listen to me, Omar. Listen to the point I'm making. The Prime Minister is not currently directly elected. You would give this unelected Prime Minister sweeping powers. That's what it amounts to. So right now, for example, Andrew Holness, 49 seats is what he won at the last count, yeah? So anywhere across the country where a vacancy arises, you're saying you would vest him the unilateral power to make an appointment in that seat for whatever period of time. Because if the vacancy arose one day after the swearing in, that person will be there for 5 years. Or however long the parliament, the life of the parliament. And we're saying to you that is the principle, the democratic principle there would be at stake. And we don't think, I agree with Trevor, that the trade-off is worth it. I wouldn't agree with that. But we have to go, Amalo. We have to run.
No, 1 minute. Let me say 1 minute.
No, you'd have many minutes, Amalo. We have to run. Faithful, good evening.
Yeah, good
evening, Faithful.
Good evening, Sharon. Good evening, Mr. Brooks.
Hi, Faithful.
What's all that? I'm amazed at Omala. Omala come every night and preach about democracy. No, you want to put a price on democracy?
I think
he's a pragmatist.
Right, and I think the suggestion is well intentioned, Hold on, Faithful. It's well intentioned, because we really have to find a way to fix the problem of spending so much money on by-elections and the low voter turnout. That is my concern. It's not even the money, It's how much we are spending and how few people are participating.
So, Mr. Brooks, are you saying that fixing the problem is taking away poor people, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I disagree with Omalo's suggestion.
We disagree with the solution. What I'm suggesting that Omalo puts pragmatism above principle.
That's what I'm saying. I'm amazed at Omalo. Every night Omalo come and preach about taking away the people right. That's what he preach every night. How could you take away the people right?
He believes in pragmatism over principle. And in some situations I can see where sometimes principle has to give the way to pragmatism. But in the matters of organizing a democracy, that I don't agree with.
I didn't care about that, but I'm just amazed at anyway. Yeah. I listened to the Parliament yesterday, and Mr. Golden was saying that he cannot support the bill because he did not get sufficient information. And I'm left in amazement and a wonderment to myself, and I ask myself a question: What did Mr. Golden say? Can you tell me? Because the RC is in a spot of 2% and he removed them.
No, I don't think he removed them. I believe they still sit on the CRC. What he's asking for is that he has put forward a few positions that he feels must be answered. I'm not sure to what extent those positions are. I don't know if they surround his concerns about the Privy Council versus the CCJ. I'm not sure. And he's asked that the Legal Affairs Minister must provide him with information before he can come to a decision. So yes, he's essentially sticking up the minister to say, no, you're not going to get the support until X or Y.
Mr. Bonnet grandstanding, man. Say the thing about the thing is, he just grandstanding. He said in the House of Parliament that let us agree on the thing that both of us agree on, and that's what they're working out,
No, but as I said, I'm not sure what his concerns are. If this is still on the matter of the CCJ versus the Privy Council, I do not know. He says he has sent concerns, and he is requesting the minister address those concerns before he gets the support. I'm not sure.
I think he had released a letter, He had written about the concerns he had about the CRC report, some of the conclusions they had come to.
Is it those same exact concerns is what I'm wondering?
Yeah, I'm assuming those.
Okay.
Come on, man. Do you think anything can pass without Mr. Gold in the blessing? Isn't that what they're not going together?
But you see, it goes back to the point. It goes back to the point.
All he doing is grandstanding, man, and that's the truth.
Listen, I take Mr. Golding at his word that he has principle, again, this matter of principled concerns, right?
Principle concerns for what?
Hold on. Whether you agree with him or not, the truth is, there is a logical consistency in his position that you cannot, or you should not, let me not say cannot, because there are countries that have done it, you should not want to leave the British monarch as head of state while retaining an institution that is linked to the British monarch.
Understand.
That's logically consistent.
I understand that. I understand it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that they're going to take this thing step by step?
Yes. However, hold on. However, Mr. Golding has said he does not believe the government. Hold on, wait again. Just let's be fair to him. There would be reason to doubt. Here is why. So far, the Andrew Holness government has not really consistently and clearly outlined a position on this matter of the final court. You sort of get sketches of a position. One time you hear say it might be a local final court. Next time you hear it might be, it's the Jamaican people should decide. Next time you hear it might be, we like the Privy Council. So the position does seem to be moving. So maybe what the Holness government should do is to say to the people of Jamaica very clearly, even though Mr. Golding said he would reject that position, but I think if he were to reject it, he'd be on weaker ground, that we're going to put to the people in a referendum the matter of the final court. If Mr. Golding rejects that, he'd be on a weaker ground.
And there we go again. I promise you this, Mr. Ricardo, that if he propose referendum, all they're going to object it to the T.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying, Faithful. If he does that, then you would have. But if a bill comes and they say this is what we're doing, and he's saying he's going to object to the Jamaican people having a say, then you can properly criticize him. But the Holness government has not taken any concrete steps one way or the other.
But he's made his position clear that he doesn't believe it requires a referendum. It can be passed at the parliamentary level and
so I know Mr. Golding's position. What I don't know is the government's position.
But the point I'm making, honestly speaking, so what is the fixity? Because if Mr. Golding is going to hold hardball, and the next election come and they win, and the next side is not position, is he going to get support?
No, but that is quite clear in this matter as to whether we're going to push forward with it. If a government is removed from office, I don't think they're going to be inclined to assist Mr. Golding in passing any future legislation, which is why I found his comment in the past that he's going to restart the process under some... how is that going to work?
But again, you see what you said about the Senate being fundamentally an undemocratic institution. This is why we have this problem, The framers of the Constitution created a mess, frankly, because, again, the people who hold the sway, who will hold sway, are unelected people. They're unelected people. If they were elected, you could call them and try to say, hey, vote for this. But the eight opposition senators, them can just block it and there'll be no consequence to them.
But because if they were elected, they would be elected by one of the two parties. So
no, but at least the Jamaican people,
you'd have a understanding
right
as to which party has the majority.
Yeah, and the Jamaican people would also be able to punish a viewpoint they disagree with.
I think the best way out of this, take it step by step. Guys, if they don't get support, you're not going to get support. And if one don't get support, the next one going to get support. And we're going in a limbo constantly. Are you see that? Are you not seeing that we're not going anywhere?
Yeah, but I also don't know if the step-by-step thing, because we've been doing that now for the last 50 years, and we're not really reached nowhere.
I wonder if we'll just get past the first hurdle.
I honestly believe that at some point in another, we are going to go to the CCJ. I have no problem with that, you know. But I have no problem with this grandstanding, man. That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
I hate the grandstanding. And in my view, I think Mr. Gwyn is a grandstanding. And it's too much of that now. I swear, you know, I am in favor of CCJ, you know. I will act up that in time, you know. But this time we stop the grandstanding and if he see that he's winning, it's just about winning and losing for him.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not right.
All right, Faithful.
Come on, man.
So, who done it says to me, Ricardo, Trinidad is a republic and they still use the Privy Council. And they still use the Privy Council for exactly the same problem we're having now. One party wants to go to the CCJ, another party wants to stay with the Privy Council. So whenever people raise the argument of Trinidad to me, it's the same problem we're in. Killian Henry says, Ricardo, why you just make him out for say the framers created a mess? Yes, they did. They created a constitution that was incredibly difficult in some respects to amend, and especially on issues that it should not have been this difficult for us to remove the British monarch. The kind of steps that it takes to remove the British monarch as our head of state, yes, that is it should not have been. They should not have entrenched that institution so deeply into the psyche of our nation.
I mean, I don't know if it's a mess. I think this was a deliberate creation, was it not?
Yeah, a messy, deliberate creation to tie us to a colonial power.
I think it was essentially a check on balance on each other. They didn't trust each other when they created the constitution,
yeah, but
and
again,
they didn't know where they would fall with the opposition or government.
So I've heard PJ Patterson make that argument. I can understand the Prime Minister opposition leader's powers. What I can't understand is the deeply entrenched position of the British monarch. Why did the framers think that to remove that institution would have been so detrimental that they had to so deeply entrench it?
I wonder if that was just the thinking of the day.
Perhaps, which is also messy, because a constitution should have some amount of foresight. Eh? J.E., good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, ma'am.
I don't remember you guys. I think it's Ricardo.
Ricardo and Siobhan.
And Siobhan, okay. Yes, I have two issues. Very issue. I hear a man come with one. This is what I'm going to repeat. The children, them, that means the accident, yeah?
Yeah.
I heard a man saying that they're supposed to go to the nearest school. But you must always remember that if my child, just for instance, after a particular school nearby in my district, I may say I don't want my child to attend that school. I think I've heard the Ministry of Education said once that the children should place at the nearest school in the district where they are. Mm-hmm. But then again, the parents come up and insist that they don't want the children at that school.
But may I ask you, why wouldn't you want your child at that particular school?
Pardon?
Why wouldn't you want your child to attend a school in, as you say, the district that they live in?
I was just using it as an example. I don't have a problem with my child passing for school in the district.
Okay.
It's what they work for, they're going to get. That's my opinion. Work for that school, but I'm just making a reference that what I experience.
Yeah.
Which I heard. I don't want my child to attend that school because it's too bad.
But that's right. So that's what Omalo was saying. Omalo was saying if we bring or attempt to bring our schools to about an equal standing. Well, maybe not equal, because you probably won't be able to achieve that, but at least a basic, decent standing, then those concerns that you have about the school being a bad school or, those would be limited because most schools would be on the same standing.
But I think the problem is that we're going to have pedigree schools that most people still would want to go to.
Yeah, but in the public system, Jamaica, we have the history of Jamaica is hard to contend because those schools would already have the pedigree based on their history.
There is a unfortunate apartheid system when it comes to our education system, and it forces people to compete for limited spaces in what they consider to be the top schools. And I think even in a circumstance where we do bring other schools up to standard, that apartheid system would still exist, where the people with more means will still send their children to the top schools, and we'll still have the concerns raised about the almost classist nature of the education system.
I'm not referring to the traditional school, I'm referring to the upgraded secondary school. I'm not referring to the original school, the traditional school. I'm referring to the upgrade school. And then the system, I don't know what to say, because it's even, they're going to be, the ministry going to bring out a system that, all right, if the child passes this school, you may not know the district that the accident operated or for the case. It's 3 high school those children pass to go to Lebanon. You have Bustaman High, you have Garvey Marshall, you have Grimmy, you have one in Grimmy. At least 4 schools that pass go to Lebanon High, But as I say, their children and the parents, they cannot rule, federal parents also rule their kids. So that is number one. What I'm saying now, the ministry needs to go for system that, all right, when your child pass on X school, traditional one is also because when they pass as traditional, it doesn't matter how far they have to attend there because it's their average. When they come from the school, they have a sticker, like for instance, they have the 4 schools in Lionel Town at that area, and the child pass over that and they insist that they want their child to go to Lennon. And they want a transfer. They could reject and so well, then there's no space here for a transfer, but you have to be careful what you do in society. That is one point. My second learning point is this. There was a time I don't know if anybody listening and can attest to this. There was an accident at home in Critical, yeah? A coast about with, I think, 5 children lost their lives at that time. They sent 2 JUTC bus to take the children to school to and from. And that is something I'm not guessing is what I see. There was a certain police at the Mandeville station. She's now deceased. She worked assiduously to get those children to take the bus. They wouldn't go on it, and it was only $20, and when they take the taxi, $50 on the taxi. And she has to go up 9 because they need the taxi down the bottom to the Mandeville hospital and take it there because they find out that the police is trying to get them on the bus. So I don't know how they're going to, well, as they said it to send some of the people they will come. I don't know what's going to happen when they start the rural bus system. But I'm just saying this to say that what happened at that time, they wouldn't take the bus because one student remarked in my case was...
I think that was my time in high school. I believe the reason they didn't take the bus was because they attached a certain stigma to the JUTC yellow buses at the time. I believe that stigma still exists, and they gave it a certain name, and the children didn't want to be associated with the name that they gave that bus, and they didn't want to take it.
I'm not aware of it. I'm sure I heard out of one of the students about that. Not taking the bus, just have the vibe. They take taxi, we get the taxi, they have vibes and they play music. The bus won't play music. And they have to send the bus to Kingston. I remember, $20 on the bus at the time and it's $50 on the taxi. And they prefer to pay the $50 to play the music so that the bus at the bus. I rest my case there, Shivan. I'm just saying, we are on the ground. You guys are up there, don't know exactly what is happening. We cannot save anymore. Everything is just out of place now.
Well, I mean, it would be easy enough for the government in a situation where we had suitable transportation for the government to just say that no, children are not allowed on taxis and XYZ. That would be easy enough to mandate.
Yeah, my mother would just pick one and have those at the other. Then the taxi man and go and maybe cause a riot or something. So then they're not getting, and though it's only school children, and you have other.
No, but there's a next thing you know, madam, I've come to understand the taxis and the other operators do not like taking the school children because they get a discounted fare. And I've known quite a few taxi operators who simply say, I don't want a person paying $50 sitting in a seat where I can get $150, $200 for the same seat.
But they're not so bad now, you know, because I remember there were the days when even adults pushing out the school children them out of the taxi. But it's not so now. They have a thing saying now that, all right, only 2 schoolers and 4 adults. Yes? They're not too bad now taking the school children them in the taxi. But first time, it was like that. So I don't really know, you know what, as I said earlier on, we are on the grounds and we are seeing everything. The Prime Minister, the opposition, they are not seeing what is happening on the ground. But we are seeing what is happening on the ground.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call.
Yeah. Okay, and thanks for listening.
No problem. Have a good evening. I didn't want to watch a video again in a day now. But we're out of time.
So Chris Morling seems to doubt what I was saying about the stigma attached to the JUTC buses during my time. How can you tell me what I experienced?
No, it's true. In my time, a lot of children preferred the coaster buses with the music and the excitement and yeah. Dana Davy, thank you. Never miss me? You did miss me. Of course you did. Damian Cunningham, technical operator tonight. Thank you, sir.
It's girl named Stunningham. That's what we're going with.
Oh, okay. Siobhan, that's actually the best one. No. To be fair to Siobhan, that's the best one he's come up with. As opposed to Bugs, the girl named Stugs. I you know, Damian Cunningham.
The girl named
Stunningham. All right, I can work with that. Cara Powell, our editor, our colleagues in the newsroom, the best in the business, our contributors, our sponsors, and you, our valued listeners. Thank you so much. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening.